Jesus is real, but you devils taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie.
Who changed the truth for God into a lie? In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew, is Yahweh Shai. So do or die. The Immaculate Conception is deception, along with the myth of giving gifts on December 25th. Christmas is Satan's clause, the birth of Nimrod, and not the Son of God. To you was kinda odd. On the Passover, Christ was born in the spring. So now we bring the truth about the King of Kings. That's Black Jesus and not Caesar Borgias. And the facts can't be changed. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High. It's all about Yahweh Shai. It's all about the Most High.
Jesus is real.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Let's try that again.
That's right, yeah. That's right.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
All right. Welcome to Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. We are located at 8425 South Braeswood Boulevard, and that's Houston, Texas, 77071. 8524 South Braeswood. Oh, I did? Oh. 8524 South Braeswood Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77071. We have class Monday and Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, we have it from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And Shabbat morning class, we have that from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. or whenever we finish answering questions. We also have another school out in San Antonio, Texas, which is located at 4219 Centergate Street. That's San Antonio, Texas, 78217. Another location that we have is also Albuquerque, New Mexico, and that's 7710 Manuel Boulevard, Suite F, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87110. The newly opened school in Virginia, the address for that is 2610 Granby Street, Norfolk, Virginia, 23517. And class times for that, class will start on Tuesday. Oh, y'all are lucky. It's about to start popping. Class is starting on Tuesday in Virginia. If you want to watch a previously recorded kids class, we have kids class on ISBHBK Kids on YouTube. And kids class will be going on during Sabbath class. If you're in a Houston area and you want to come through and bring your children through, while the adults are having Sabbath class, going through the Sabbath reading, the kids will be having Sabbath class in the back. So if you got kids, come on, bring them through. Let them get their spiritual knowledge going, their spiritual education. Like the scriptures say, train up a child in the way that he should go. You definitely want to start them on this path as early as possible. We also have a cable show, and that's on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Comcast local channel 17, or you can stream it live at hmstv.org. We also have a blog talk with the brother Mashaba, and you can find that at blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba, and that's on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30 a.m. Very good classes. I'm telling you, you just listen to this, your whole brain, your whole mental structure starts to change. You start being more engulfed in the scriptures. You listen to the audio Bible, you listen to the blog talk, you listen to class while you're moving around your day, and I'm telling you, everywhere you go, you start seeing scriptures. You see people, you see scriptures. You see events, you see scriptures. Things just start popping in your brain, and what that does is it keeps you locked into the book, it keeps you engaged, and it also let you know that the Bible is real. The scriptures are real. So when you're seeing these things, it's like, oh yeah, this is exactly what the Bible said. So it's another tool to keep you engaged. We also have Israelware. You can find them on Facebook. They're accepting orders. You can get a custom-made headband, armbands, or a custom shirt, French shirt. You know, the sisters, they take a lot of pride in what they do. Very good needlework, very good stitches. The sisters are on point. They put love into it. They put their spirit into it. So check them out. Come visit us on Israelware, and they'll hook you up, get you a nice garment. Also, we have, if you need to reach a priest, you can reach Priest Kazakia at 281-707-2737. Or you can reach Priest Kwatazab, which is here on my right, at 303-557-8979. And please text only during class. Outside of class hours, feel free to call them up. They'll be more than happy to answer your questions or counsel with you and help you out however they can help you. If you want to give any alms or donations, we accept donations on the Wells Fargo account, which is 1025-129896. Or you can mail things to us. I know the Virginia schools and our school and all the other schools, but especially Virginia school because they're just opening up. We need pens, notebooks, computers, apocryphers, Bibles, dictionaries. The older the better. I mean, whatever that you feel like, whatever's in your heart to donate, you definitely need that desk. They definitely need the cash so we can get the equipment to get things set up in the school. But every little bit counts. And for all those who do donate already and drop alms, it's greatly appreciated. And all those who do in the future, you know, it's needed. It's, you know, put your break in. You know, do what you can do to help further the truth. We also have the Google Wallet, and that's isbhbk@gmail.com. And for the announcements, that's it. And you know how we normally do for the first hour or so of class, we open it up for questions. So y'all online, y'all in the internet land on YouTube, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in, and we'll get at it. To start things off, are there any questions in class?
Tiana, what's your question?
So, my question is in Exodus chapter 6 and verse 12.
Okay. Exodus 6 and 12. Somebody, a brother, get that. What's your question?
What does Moses mean by his uncircumcised lips?
Somebody read that.
Exodus chapter 6, verse 12. And Moses spake before the Most High, saying, Behold,
Right?
the children of Israel have not hearkened unto me. How then shall Pharaoh hear me, who am of uncircumcised lips?
Right. It's just, it was Moses. You remember where, and he's going to find it. Remember where Moses was, the Most High came to Moses and said, look, you're going to go deal with Pharaoh. Move over, Jermaine. You're going to go deal with Pharaoh. And he said, well, I'm not of eloquent speech. I don't speak well. Right. So that he just reiterated the same thing. Watch, we're going to get the scripture.
Yeah, it's 4 and 10.
It's what?
Exodus chapter 4 and verse 10.
Yeah, go there real quick.
Exodus 4,
But hold where she's at in 6 and 12. Exodus 4.
verse 10.
Right. Exodus 4 and verse 10. Read that.
And Moses said unto the Most High,
Right.
O Yahweh, I am not eloquent,
Right.
neither heretofore,
Right.
nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant.
Right. Read on.
But I am slow of speech
Uh-huh.
and of slow tongue.
And of a slow tongue. So here was Moses, I hate to use the word, but trying to make an excuse for why not to do what the Most High was sending him to go do. The Most High sent him to do what? Go talk to Pharaoh. Go get the children of Israel out of Egypt, right? Right. So he was like, well, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? I'm of slow speech. I'm not eloquent with the tongue. I'm uncircumcised lips, right? Because we know it's not a literal thing. Like, there's no such thing, uncircumcised lips literally, right? So this is what it was talking about. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 11.
Uh-huh.
And the Most High said unto him,
Right.
Who hath made man's mouth?
Read.
Or who maketh the dumb?
Uh-huh.
Or deaf?
Uh-huh.
Or the seeing? Or the blind?
Right, go ahead.
Have not I, the Most High?
So the Most High had to reestablish Moses' mind and show him, like, wait a minute, who's the one that does all these things? It's me. I make a man deaf, dumb, blind. Go ahead.
Now therefore go,
Uh-huh.
and I will be with thy mouth,
He said, and I will be with thy mouth. I'll tell you what to say. Read.
and teach thee what thou shalt say.
Right, go ahead.
And he said, O my Most High, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him who thou wilt send.
Right.
And the anger of the Most High was kindled against Moses.
Right.
And he said, It is not Aaron, the Levite, thy brother?
Right.
I know that he can speak well.
He said, I know what?
I know that he can speak well.
Right, so he said, now therefore go, and I will be with thy mouth and teach thee what thou shalt say. And he said, so Moses said, O my Lord, send I, pray thee, by the hand of him whom thou wilt send. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, and he said, is Aaron not thy... So Moses was basically trying to get out of doing what the Most High wanted. So he was always trying to say, oh, he didn't speak well. So that's all it was going into. So just the wording, you know how the scriptures talk, right? So when you go back into that Exodus, when you go back into that Exodus 6 and 12, that's what it's going into. He's just making more reference on that. Right. Everybody got that?
God.
You clear on that, Tiana?
Okay.
Anything else? How y'all feeling?
Wow.
It's Friday.
Oh yeah.
It's Friday. Yeah, listen, them Sabbaths it was just a Sabbath yesterday, to me. My head. Sabbath be rolling through quick, man.
Yeah.
Most High say you're gonna make them days short. Because if he don't, man, imagine really feeling a 24-hour day. It's torment.
Gone.
It's torment, man. There's not enough studying you can do in the world to occupy the time, and all the filth going on in the world. It's torment. I'm just waiting for them to see if they got anything online. I mean, if not, we go into this class. It's a lot of reading. You know, we're going to go into and deal with the Ark of the Covenant, right? So it's a lot of reading, and y'all need those classes. Y'all need these informational classes for your arsenal. You know, we hit a lot of spiritual classes. We hit a lot of, things like that. So it's good to do a balance and have knowledge classes also. So nothing online? Wow, huh? All right, well. Yeah, let's get into it. It's all good. Let's get into it. So, yeah, like I was saying, we're going to be going over the Ark of the Covenant. A lot of reading. So, brothers that are reading, make sure you get your voices right. Right? Where's the other brother that's supposed to be reading? Where's he at? He in the back? Right. Okay, so, yeah, let's get into it, man. Go ahead and take them away.
All right, so the Ark of the Covenant. Every time I think about the Ark of the Covenant, I think about Indiana Jones. I don't know if y'all ever seen that movie. It might be it's a little old. The Indiana Jones, they're looking for the Ark of the Covenant. But to start off, let's start off at Exodus chapter 25 and verse 1.
Yeah, and what we're going to do, we're just going to go over, who knows what the Ark of the Covenant is? Who knows? Anybody in here? What is it?
It's the seat where Yahweh Shai would come through
Right?
and meet.
Right.
And meet to speak with chosen priests, correct?
Right. He would speak with Moses. And we're gonna get to that. And it had other functionalities. That's the thing. The Ark of the Covenant, it had, we're going to go through how it was built, what it was built out of, and what purpose it served for Israel. Because it served a purpose. Everything that the Most High did, there was a purpose. There was a carnal purpose, but there was a spiritual purpose behind everything that the Most High ordained for us to do in the wilderness. So we're going to go through and just break down what it was, where it is, who built it, how, why, the who, what, where, whens, and how. All right, so where we starting off at?
We're starting off at Exodus chapter 25, verse 1. And yeah, like he was saying, we're gonna go through, we're gonna break down the covenant, the Ark of the Covenant. The what, where, whys, who was involved in the making and the construction and the specifications. What we're going into right now, what these verses, this block of scriptures are going to go into, is the architectural design of the Ark of the Covenant. So Exodus chapter 25 and verse 1.
Exodus 25, verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering.
Okay, so let's pause right there. So the Most High is telling Moses, just so everyone knows that this wasn't something that Moses just thought upon himself to say, hey, let me get the people to give me these things and make a box. This is not like how when Moses was on the mountain and Aaron and the people, the children of Israel was like, hey, Aaron, make us a god. And he took all their gold and stuff like that and made them a calf. This is not like this. This is the Most High. He's telling Moses this. And then so Moses is going to collect these offerings from the people. And the people are given a free will offering. They want to give this. They want to give these items in order to get something, get the temple made, get the ark made, just so we can bring glory to the Most High. Even though it's in a carnal way, it's still showing love and care for the temple, for the altar, for the Ark of the Covenant. Go ahead.
Did you read verse 2?
No, we ain't got there yet.
Oh, go ahead.
We're in it.
You're in verse 2. Finish it up.
Of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart.
Why did it have to be willing? Why did you have to give it willingly? Well, because if not, the Most High wasn't going to accept it. Remember, if there first be a willing mind, then it is accepted. Because it was easy for, especially at this time, for brothers to be like, we ain't got it. We don't got that. We don't have, and it's going to list a list of different things that was needed. It was easy for them to say, well, we don't have that. Or we have too little. But what do the scriptures say about giving? Who remembers? Before we dive deep, what does the scripture say about giving of your substance?
Give with a cheerful heart.
It says give with a cheerful heart. What else? What else does it say? Go to Tobit real quick. Go to Tobit 4 and verse 7. This is why you have to be a willing giver, because of this Tobit 4 and verse 7. Just hitting on this giving part, man. I know we talk about the Ark of the Covenant, but you can't just breeze through this part. Tobit 4 and 7, read.
Tobit chapter 4 verse 7.
Go ahead.
Give alms of thy substance.
Uh-huh.
And when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious.
Right. So if I'm giving willingly, my eye is not going to be envious when I give. I'm not going to give and then be like, damn, I shouldn't have gave that.
Right.
Or damn, that's all I had, man. These niggas made me broke. Or damn, man, they making that look good. I want it back.
Oh man, I could have used that for something else.
I could have, I could have used that for something else. So he said, don't be envious when you give. Go ahead.
Neither turn thy face from any poor.
Right, come on, read.
And the face of the Most High shall not be turned away from thee.
Right, read on.
If thou hast abundance,
right,
give alms accordingly.
Right, so if you have an abundance, you give alms accordingly. Or offering according to the abundance. But is it just about an abundance? Read.
If thou have but a little,
Right?
be not afraid to give according to that little.
Yeah, don't be scared. That's why he said it had to be a willing offering. Because you had men in that mind, well, I ain't got enough. Well, he's saying right here, don't be afraid to give according to that little. You can still break off a half of a little.
Yeah.
You can still break off a part of a little bit. $1 is a little bit, but guess what? You can still get 25 cents. Right? You still have 75 cents left over. If you want to look at it like that, $1 is like, all I got is $1. Well, let me get 25 cents of that. Let me get half, right? But he's saying, don't be afraid. Go ahead.
For thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity.
Wait, what's the point?
To
Lay up.
lay up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity.
Yeah, you end up laying up a good treasure for yourself. When you gave willingly, it was stored up for you when you needed it. That's what a lot of people don't understand about, that's what a lot of people fail to understand about giving. And giving of the things that they have and being willing to give. They don't realize that if you're doing it out of a good conscience, out of a clear mind, clear heart, willing, the Most High will store that up for you in the long run. Allison.
2 Corinthians 9:7. Does that go with that?
First be willing, oh no, spirit willing.
Every man according.
Oh yeah, we can go there. It goes with it. Oh yeah, this is a study. Go ahead, read on.
Because that alms do deliver from death.
Yeah, your alms is going to deliver you from death, man. You know, in this case, the things that they were going to give were going to be to help make the ark, which the ark delivered. When we go into it, that ark was delivering us from death. It was guiding us. So we were storing up a treasure that we didn't even understand what we were doing when we gave towards the ark. This is why it's so important. You know, you read and you examine these scriptures. Go to the one 2 Corinthians 9. Right where you let's see here.
9:7.
Read it.
2 Corinthians 9, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
Every man according as he purposeth in his heart, so let him give.
So let him do what?
Give.
But it has to be willing. Read.
Not grudgingly.
Not what?
Grudgingly.
Yeah, like, man, they making, like, they strangling my pockets.
Right.
They strangling me to give. Nah. They got to be willing. Go ahead.
Or of necessity.
Or of, like, oh, I got to do this. I'm bound. No. It has to be a willing mind, willing spirit, clear conscience. Read.
For the Most High loveth a cheerful giver.
Wait, what does he like?
A cheerful giver.
Not only does he like it, he loves a cheerful giver. Read.
And the Most High is able to make all grace abound toward you.
And that's what he'll do, man. Them alms will deliver from death in your time of need. Finish where you at, Lamont, and then we're going to jump back to Exodus.
Thyself against the day of necessity.
Right.
Because that alms do deliver from death.
Right.
They suffer not to come into darkness.
Right. You see that? Read on the next verse.
For alms is a good gift unto all that give it in the sight of the Most High.
In the what?
In the sight of the Most High.
Right. In the sight of the Most High. Not for man, not for glory. Oh, I gave that. Y'all owe me something.
Right.
It's about giving willingly. So let's jump back to Exodus 25:2. Read.
Con. Of every man that giveth it willingly with his heart, ye shall take my offering.
Yeah, so this was put together out of a free will offering. Just like the scriptures we just hit. The emphasis on the free will. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And this is the offering which ye shall take of them: gold and silver and brass.
Okay, so the gold. I know Brother Mashabu, he would always bring this out, talking about how we weren't poor. We weren't like barely making it. We walked out of Egypt with an abundance.
Yeah, it said we spoiled the Egyptians.
God.
We took everything that we wanted from them. They had it, and we walked out and took it. Let me get that chain. Let me get them bricks. Let me get them jewels. Let me get that, the scarlet purple drapes. Let me get that.
God. Shoot, we weren't walking around poor, broke. dusty in the wilderness. We had nice clothes, we had jewels, we had golds. That's why we're able, look, they said, give me earrings. They took earrings and stuff like that and made the calf. Now they're donating, they're giving things to make something righteous, something for the Most High. You know, so we had gold, jewels, wealth. And you know, we gave out of our wealth. That's why the temple was so laid. That's why the ark is going to, when we get into it, it's so laid. Watch, read on.
Verse 4, and blue, and purple, and scarlet.
Now these things, these weren't easy to come by garments. These colors, these dyes, they weren't easy to come by. This is royalty. Royalty wore things like this. Read on.
And fine linen, and goat hair, and ram skins dyed red, and badger skins, and shittim wood.
Right, and those badger skins, when you look that up, that was a type of deer or antelope, lawful animal, because we know badgers, they're unlawful.
Okay.
So it was a lawful animal. It was a deer or an antelope when you look that up in the Strongs. Okay, go ahead.
Oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense.
We was up in there smelling good. We wanted the temple. We had things to make us smell good. We had things to make the temple smell good. We were laced. We walked around like kings and princes out in the wilderness. Just think about that. We had it. But read on.
Question, so it was that sweet ambiance.
Oh yeah. It was that sweet ambiance, you know. Just, why do you think brothers always be walking around with a sweet ambiance, a sweet aura? You know, when someone comes up to at least us up in here, someone comes up to us, we smell good. We smell good and we looking good. But read on.
Verse 7, onyx stones, and stones to be set in the ephod,
Read.
and in the breastplate, and let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them. Verse 9, according to all that I show thee, after the pattern of the tabernacle, and the pattern of all the instruments thereof, even so shall ye make it.
So he was going off of the pattern that the Most High had showed him. It wasn't something that Most High didn't show him just a little schematics and said, make this. Most High showed him. He said, go off of this pattern. He showed him what it looked like. So when we start getting into the way the ark looked, we're getting into what the Most High showed Moses, what's in the heavenly realms. Watch, read on.
Read verse 5 one more time real quick.
Verse 5, and ram skins dyed red, and badger skins, and shittim wood.
Now, shittim wood. Very, 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 very important. Are we?
Oh yeah,
You got a little something in there?
It's a durable wood.
Right.
It doesn't mold.
Oh, did you have some stuff on it?
Yeah, I had looked up earlier. I didn't put it in. So.
Oh, yeah. Real quick.
Go ahead.
Just the properties of shittim wood, man. It got, let's see here. You know, it was durable. The water really didn't let the wood decay. You know how a lot of wood, if it gets wet, it starts to rot. It was almost waterproof. It was bug proof, so you wouldn't get termites coming eating up the Ark of the Covenant. Like, what would be the point when we go through this Ark of the Covenant and see how it's built? What would be the point of building it if a termite could come and eat it?
Right.
You know, so it was bug proof. It was waterproof. What would be the point is if we was carrying it through the wilderness and it rained and it started to rot away. So the Most High chose a specific wood for us to build the ark out of so that it was durable. So that shittim wood, very, 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 very important. Go ahead, read on. Jump back down.
Verse 10, and they shall make an ark of shittim wood.
Right, so they were going to make an ark of shittim wood. You see that? So the shittim wood, or the shittish tree, is where that wood comes from. Now, go to, what's the next scripture?
Exodus 31 and verse 1.
Right, so we went here first to show that the Most High commanded this, just like you said earlier.
Right.
The Most High commanded this. This wasn't Moses going off of his own thoughts, like, oh, I'm going to create something and do something, do my own thing. Like how he said it, how the people were like, hey, Aaron, give us a God. When Moses went up into Sinai, and they thought Moses died, and the people were like, hey, Aaron, give us a God. And what'd they do? They start pulling earrings off, nose rings off, and making molten calves. This wasn't that. This was ordained. The Ark of the Covenant, ordained by the Most High. This wasn't some idol that we worshiped, right? This wasn't some golden calf, or this wasn't a statue with two angels that we bow down to.
Right.
That got to be said. This was ordained. Now, think about it. When we go through when you think about even the Ark of the Covenant, isn't it an image? It's two angels, man, on the seat. Right? But it said, don't make any graven images. Didn't he say that? Right, but he said to worship them, right? 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not make any graven images to worship them. This is a graven image. When we get to it, the whole ark was a graven image. But we didn't worship the ark until we did.
Yeah, I was going to say not at this point.
Right? Until we did, and we lost track of what the ark was for. Go ahead.
So Exodus chapter 31 and verse 1.
Exodus 31 verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, See, I have called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah.
Okay, so the Most High called this man to construct the ark. I'm jumping a little bit.
Let him read on.
Yeah.
He's going to tell you.
Verse 3. And I have filled him with the spirit of the Most High, in wisdom, and in understanding, and in knowledge, and in all manner of workmanship.
So, this wasn't some just Rudy Poo guy.
Right.
This wasn't Bob the Builder. This wasn't Handy Manny. This wasn't Tim the Toolman Taylor.
No, sir.
It said he did what? With the Spirit?
I have filled him with the Spirit of the Most High.
Yeah, he said he called him by name and he filled him with the Spirit. What Spirit is that? Because everybody's like, oh, the Holy Spirit wasn't around then.
Oh.
Like, what Spirit is that? Where are we going? Well, it said he's given the spirit of wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Go to Isaiah 11 and verse 1. Go to Isaiah 11 verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 11 verse 1.
Read.
And
verse 2.
And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him.
Right? So what is the Spirit of the Lord? Read.
The Spirit of wisdom.
Of what?
Of wisdom.
Ain't that what it said in Exodus? That he gave him the Spirit of wisdom? Go ahead.
And understanding.
He gave him the Spirit of understanding. Read.
The Spirit of counsel.
Come on.
And might.
So even, what's his name that we're reading about? Pronounce it. Where we at?
Bezalel. Verse 2, Exodus chapter 31 verse 2.
Bezalel. Right, Bezalel. Right? So Bezalel was given the spirit of what? It said counsel. Why? Because he had to talk to Moses and get the proper instruction on how to build it. So the spirit of the Most High had to be on him. Why? Why was this important? Because if not, the spirit of a nigga would be on him.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And he'd be wanting to build the ark the way he saw fit.
Oh.
Like, man, we ain't using shit. We using pine, cuz.
Smells better.
That's pine wood smells good. But yeah, pine wood rots. Pine wood ain't good. It rots. Or it's not heavy enough or sturdy enough. So the spirit of counsel, wisdom, understanding, what else?
The spirit of knowledge.
The spirit of knowing, okay, I'm going to follow and do things the right way. What else?
And of the fear of the Lord.
And what?
Of the fear of the Lord.
So, and he also had the fear of the Lord on him. To know, listen, I got to do this right. I got to follow Moses. Right? I got to follow what Moses has laid down. Just like Paul said, be ye followers of me as I am of Christ. And follow and keep all the ordinances. Did Paul not have the Spirit? Con. So the same Spirit is here now where Bezalel, he has to follow the ordinances how they've been laid down. Check it. Once we list all the stipulations to this ark, I want to see how many of y'all could just read it back in your brain verbatim? It'd be hard. It was a lot of instruction, a lot of measurement, a lot of material. Because why? This was literally life and death. A lot of people don't realize that. The ark, the handling of the ark was life and death. Read on. Lamont.
And shall make him of quick understanding.
Hey, wait, he had what?
Quick understanding.
Yeah, so Moses didn't have to go back to Bazelia like 50, 60 times, like, man, we got to fix this and redo this. And how come this? And how come that? They built the ark one time. There wasn't no, oh, we got to redo it. We got to melt all the gold, strip all the wood, right?
We got to unload the truck and reload it.
We got to unload the truck twice and then reload the truck. Inside joke. That's an inside moving joke.
God.
Because right? He made him of quick understanding. Go ahead.
In the fear of the Lord.
Right.
And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes.
Right. Go ahead.
Neither reprove after the hearing of his
Because
ears.
he wasn't just relying on just one or two senses. He was putting all the things together. Read.
But with righteousness shall he judge.
Right. And that's, I mean, we know this Isaiah 11 is, is speaking of Christ, but guess what? It's not just talking about Christ. That's all of us. We all supposed to have that spirit on us, just like these men that did great things had the spirit on them. Jump back to Exodus 31.
The last was Isaiah 40.
Isaiah 11 and verse 1 down to 4.
Yeah, when we have the Spirit on us, we're all supposed to be moving that way. Quick, fast, understanding, comprehensive, coherent, not slow, not sluggish, not slothful, but fervent in spirit. Watch. Read verse 3 on Exodus chapter 31, verse 3 from the top.
Con. And I filled him with the spirit of Yahweh.
I like how it said filled him. He was full. His spirit was not lacking. He was full in the spirit, ready to do this. Ready, willing, and able. Read on.
In wisdom, and in understanding, and in knowledge, and in all manner of workmanship.
Some manners of workmanship.
All manner of workmanship.
Just a few manners of workmanship.
All manner of workmanship.
He knew how to get down. This dude was crafty. He knew how to work his chisel, his axe. He knew how to do his hammer. He knew how to do his saw. He probably had some ancient power tools back then. The man could get down. He knew what he was doing. When he got to work, when you put a tool in his hands, he was able to use it efficiently and effectively. Read on.
To devise cunning works.
Cunning works. Cunning. That's when you're dealing with specifics. When you're dealing with something that takes a lighter touch. When you're dealing with something that takes a fine line. He was cunning. Attention to detail. Yeah.
Detail-orientated attention to detail, man. That's what this ark was about.
Con. Read on.
To work in gold, and in silver, and in brass, and in cutting of stones, to set them, and in carving of timber, to work in all manner of workmanship.
So this man was diverse in all the materials he was able to work with. Like I said, he was able to get down. He was able to get down with whatever you put in his hands. He made it work. It says that
What does it say? What does it say?
Where is it at?
Where does it say it at?
It says it in Deuteronomy.
You looking for?
I think it's 15. Oh, watch. Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 10. If someone can grab that for me. This wasn't in my class. It was just an add-on. Going back, thinking about the free will offering and thinking about how this man gets down and his cunningness of his workmanship and the reason why he's able to get down like that. Read where you at, brother.
Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 10. Thou shalt surely give him, and thine heart shall not be grieved when thou givest unto him.
Read.
Because that for this thing The Most High thy power shall bless thee in all thy works.
So he's blessed in the works that he do. He's freely given himself, willingly giving himself to the work. Read on.
And in all that thou puttest thy hand unto.
So everything he put his hand to do, he was crafty with it. He was cunning with it. He was sharp with it. He was crispy with it. Just like my man here when he get the blades in his hands. He get them clippers in his hands. He crispy with it. He touch that, touch this. You know, he's sharp with it. But jump back from me, Jermaine.
Real quick, they asked, was the shittim wood the same wood that Noah used for the ark? No. Go to Genesis 6 and verse 11. Excuse me, Genesis 6 and verse 14. No, it wasn't the same wood. You know, shittim wood was a lot heavier. But read that. Or it had a lot of weight to it. Where, you know, you just gotta look up the properties of these different, and I was gonna do a class like on the different woods that were used. Cause we used the cedar, you know, Solomon, he laid the temple with a certain type of wood. Then the ark was a certain type. Right. So, go ahead, read that, Genesis 6:14, please.
The book of Genesis, chapter 6 and verse 14. Make thee an ark of gopher wood.
Right, go ahead.
Rooms shalt thou make in the ark.
Yeah. So right there, it just tells you they use gopher wood, and all it is, you know, to really get the understanding of why they use different woods. All you got to do is look up the properties of the wood, and it'll kind of hint to why the Most High said use this wood. Again, it was probably a wood that wouldn't rot sitting. Remember, how long did the ark sit in the water? How long?
40 days.
Yeah, it was about 6 months. Yeah, it was about 6 months. It was about, we can find it, but yeah, it was more, it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, but the water itself was about 5.5 to 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. We can check it to make sure. But think about wood just sitting on water. First of all, it had to be a light enough wood to float, then it couldn't rot, then it couldn't swell up, because wood swells up, right? So, and you know, especially, it couldn't be brittle. Now imagine, the one thing about wood, like I used to do a little construction back in the day with my pops, and he used to teach me, like, when you're doing anything outside and you gotta leave your wood outside, the best thing to do is you get a bunch of beams and you drill the beams together, like 4x4s or 2x4s. You drill them together, because as soon as it gets wet, the wood starts to bow.
Oh.
So if you drill a bunch together, it's hard for them to bend. You want straight beams. When you building, you know, if you're building a fence, even if you're building a wall, in a, you know, drywall or whatever, you want, you know, you get your beam, you make sure it's straight. But as soon as the water hits it, it bends. So I'm like, why are you drilling everything together? He's like, well, if they get wet, they won't bend. And it was true.
Yeah.
It would take a lot for that, for, you know, 4, 5, 6 beams to bend just from water. So, you know, even the wood that we use, you know, again, just look up the properties of the wood, and you'll see why did the Most High choose that wood for that instance, and this wood for this instance. Why did Solomon use a certain wood for the temple? You know, I know the wood that Solomon used for the temple, it also had like an odor. It had an odor to it, but it also repelled bugs and insects and things like that. So, you know, the Most High give us everything we need, man, just through nature. You know, but yeah, it was gopher wood. It was gopher wood for Noah's ark. But let's jump back.
Exodus 31 verse 6. And I, behold, I have given him Aholiab, the son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan.
So that brother, he gave him the brother from the tribe of Dan to help him out. So he was also a willing participant. Cunning in the work, filled with the Spirit, able to help out and delegate work. Read on.
And in the hearts of all that are wise-hearted, I have put wisdom, that they may make all that I have commanded thee.
So it's important that it said they had a wise heart, because they needed to be humble. They needed to have that information, that knowledge, in order to put together such a fine, a detail-orientated tabernacle, ark, the Ark of the Covenant. We start getting into the details of it, and we're going to get into it real soon. You know, it's very specific, the way the Most High wanted it to be. It wasn't just no regular old box that we just threw stuff in and carried around. It wasn't something that you moved with. It wasn't no regular old treasure chest. You just kind of threw some things in it and you buried it somewhere. This was a very elegant, unique specification for the Ark of the Covenant. Read on.
The tabernacle of the congregation and the ark of the testimony and the mercy seat that is thereupon, and all the furniture of the tabernacle.
So he was able to put it all together. Him and his crew, they were able to put it all together. From there, go to Exodus chapter 37. I'm going to start at verse 1.
Where'd you end off at?
Verse
7?
7.
Right, so not only did they build the ark, but it said they built the furniture of the tabernacle. So the tabernacle was furnished. You know, when you read down in this, we had the table with the showbread, right? You had the altar, you had all these different things that had to be built to specification. They had to be built to code, right? When the Most High came through and inspected, if it wasn't built to code, you got to do it again. But that didn't happen.
Oh, they probably would die.
That didn't happen. They built it right the first time. There was no do-overs or my bads or Salakia or I missed the screw.
Yeah.
You know when you put together that IKEA dresser and it's like 4 or 5 screws missing or just loose, you're like, wait a minute, why? Huh? Damn. Nah, it'll be all right. Let me just and then you just push it against the wall and just hope for the best. But them screws is important, man. Those screws are important. You can't just push it, you can't just push the ark against the wall and hope that, it's just going to stand the test of time. It had to be built the right way. So where are we going from there?
Exodus 37.
Okay.
Exodus chapter 37 and verse 1. And Bezalel made the ark of shittim wood, 2 cubits, and a half was the length of it.
So we're getting into specifics. It said 2 cubits. We're gonna get all these. We're getting these measurements. He wants it exactly like this. The Most High was detailed in what he wanted. The way he dropped it to Moses, and Moses dropped it to
Beziel.
Beziel. Dropped it to Beziel.
Bezaliel. Right.
Beziel. Read on.
And a cubit and a half the breadth of it, and a cubit and a half the height of it. And he overlaid it with pure gold, within and without, and made a crown of gold to it round about.
So pure gold. This was laced. It was pure gold. It wasn't nothing. It wasn't that middle of the mall gold like what the Zappa would say.
This ain't no Johnny Dang.
Nah.
You know what I mean? This ain't that.
Nah. This ain't real.
Yeah, this ain't cats be acting like they got all the exclusive jewelry and they all come in the same plastic packaging. Right? Well, no, man, this ain't that. This ain't the Coliseum in New York. Anybody from New York know the Coliseum? That was a spot where you went back in the day. I don't know if they still got it. You go, you get your gold fronts, you get your gold chains, but you go in there and they just haggling over prices, right? But this was pure. This was that real gold. Remember how we read about the temple? No, how we read about the kingdom? And it said this gold was so pure, it was like glass? Yeah, bro. I mean, imagine. Everything here was pure at this time. It wasn't watered down. It wasn't cut. It wasn't mixed with gold dye, gold plated. Nah, man, this was the pure of the pures. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 37 and verse 3. And he cast for it 4 rings of gold to be set by the 4 corners of it, even 2 rings upon the one side of it.
Okay, so you gotta look at these rings. So we got this, the ark. This is the top, and it's having these rings. That these rings are going to be meant for something, and it's going to edify on what these rings are for. So like while he's talking about this, I want y'all to get like just put it in your brains and try to visualize what this is looking like. Like get a visual of it and what every component of it is used for, because it's not for nothing. It's not in the scriptures just to be in the scriptures, just to fill up space and to have words. Watch, read on.
And 2 rings upon the other side of it.
Read.
And he made staves of shittim wood and overlaid them with gold.
Okay, the staves. The staves are going to have a purpose. And think about it. We have this shittim wood. This shittim wood that's such a durable wood, right? It's a durable, lasting wood. Doesn't rot. Is less likely to rot. Less likely to get termites and all these different things. But also, it's overlaid with gold. So you don't even see the wood. You see the gold. It looks like a gold rod. Like just gold rods.
And shittim wood was heavy, man. It wasn't a light wood, so it had to be durable to be able to be overlaid with gold. When you put gold ain't light either; it's a metal. So when you overlay something with gold and you put enough, that wood had to be durable, not to crack. So it was a strong, sturdy wood. It ain't like your IKEA furniture. You know, it ain't like that Khan's couch you got 2 weeks ago. It ain't like that. Now, also, just imagine the Ark of the Covenant looking like what can you say it looks like? As far as measurement wise, like a casket.
Yeah.
Right? The length, it was what is that? Not a square, what is that? A
Rectangle?
Rectangular.
Yeah.
Rectangular shape. Right? So it's rectangular shape. It said, and he cast four rings of gold, and they be set by the 4 corners of it. So there was 4 corners, 4 rings that stuck out, and the staves went through the rings. Okay, so you ever watched? Whenever you watch like, when you watch what the movies where they're carrying like the king.
Oh yeah.
Right, and what do they have? They have the staves on their shoulder, and like 4 men are carrying it, and he's up top. That's like the Ark of the Covenant. That's where they got that from, right? That's the seat. They got the seat up there. They just don't have the cherubims and all the gold, but the design of how they're gonna carry it. These four rings, the staves went through the 2 rings on each side, and that's how they carried it. Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 37 and verse 5. And he put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark to bear the ark.
Right, this is how they carried it. Go ahead.
And he made the mercy seat of pure gold, 2 cubits, and a half was the length thereof, and 1 cubit, and a half the breadth thereof.
Okay, so we're back to specifics. You know, he was very detailed in what he wanted. And again, pure gold. It was laced. It was crispy. It was nice. It was elegant. It wasn't something that you would commonly see. Read on.
And he made 2 cherubims of gold.
Now, the cherubims are angels. So he made 2 angels of gold. You had a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
Were different replicas of the covenant were made? And I'm going off of like Google here because there's so many different pictures of them.
Yeah, if you go to Ethiopia, they have an Ark of the Covenant in every one of their churches.
Okay.
Because they believe that they have replicas, and then they say that they have the actual Ark of the Covenant, which that's a damn lie.
Right.
Because when we go through these scriptures, it's gonna show like you don't want the Ark of the Covenant if you ain't an Israelite.
Right.
So, but, and I gotta do my class on it, but that's where that whole Rastafarianism comes from, and then that's why they try to claim that they got the Ark and that they're the children of Israel, conquered line of tribe of Judah, and that's where they get it. Like Solomon gave them the Ark, then the Ark flew with them over the Red Sea and all types of madness. So there are replicas of it.
Yeah, because I see like on the pictures where we're talking about the staves, how they're positioned differently. Some of them are like at the top of the covenant, some of them are towards the bottom or the middle.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's just no one knows because No one in modern time has actually seen the Ark of the Covenant.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm looking for you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Beaten out of one piece made he them, and the two ends of the mercy seat, one cherubim on the end on this side, and another cherub on the other end on that side. Out of the mercy seat made he the cherubims on the two ends thereof. And the cherubim spread out their wings on high, and covered with their wings over the mercy seat.
So you got these angels. So you got these angels on the top of the ark, and they got their wings spread out over the mercy seat. So just get a visual. I mean, we all got smartphones out here, so you can Google something and it'll give you something you can go off of.
Right, some type of rendition, something close, but it ain't gonna be the exact.
So like you got these angels on the mercy seat, and they got these wings spread over on the top of the covenant, and they got these wings spread over it. You know, something that, and again, this is what the Most High showed Moses, and then he's dropping it, and then the man is building it. Read on.
With their faces one to another, even to the mercy seatward were the faces of the cherubims. And he made the table of shittim wood. 2 cubits was the length thereof, and a cubit the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof. And he overlaid it with pure gold.
So the cubits, the length, the width. When it's saying the breadth and the height, the length, you know, like if you look on your phone, you kind of see like it's like what I was saying earlier, like when it's describing, it's like a rectangle. It's a box shape. Read on.
And made thereunder too a crown of gold round about. Also he made thereunto a border of an handbreadth round about, and made a crown of gold for the border thereof round about.
So around the edge of it, it's like a crown. So like if you look at back in the days, like the kingly crowns and things like that, how the crowns kind of like spiked up a little bit all around the head, and the crown in the middle was open. You think about the ark, it has like this crown type look around it. Read on.
Exodus 37 and verse 13. And he cast for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings upon the 4 corners that were in the 4 feet thereof. Over against the border were the rings, the places for the staves to bear the table.
Again, just like we were talking about, those rings were for the staves to go through and to bear the temple up, to bear the ark up. So when people are moving it, they're not literally just touching it, or they're not handling it like it's some common object. It's something special. They put it on staves, and brothers are taking consideration of what they're carrying. Read.
And he made the staves of shittim wood, and overlaid them with gold, to bear the table.
That's it on that. From there, we're going to go to Exodus chapter 16 and Exodus chapter 16 and verse 32. And we're going to start getting into, so we got the layout of the Ark of the Covenant. We got an idea of what it looks like. It's a box shape. It has these angels, these cherubims with their wings stretched over the mercy seat. On top of it, it has a crown circling, going on the border of the top of the ark, you know. But now we're going to get into the contents of what was in it, you know. So we're just breaking it down little by little. Now you got a picture of it. Now we're going to know what they had inside of this box.
And let me say this before we go there. Just imagine if Bezalel was like, well, I feel like building it 4 cubits.
Oh, you do it all.
I feel like building it 4 cubits, and you know, that's how I want to do it. Remember, this was carried by men. Men had to carry it, so it was made a certain weight so it could be bared up and carried from where? Where were we carrying it to? And for how long?
40 years.
Carried this thing for 40 years, man. Longer, actually,
Yeah.
because didn't they go with Joshua?
Yep.
Didn't they go with David? Didn't they go with Solomon?
Yeah, every war.
Right. So this covenant, this Ark of the Covenant, but think about that. Moses had it for 40 years, and then think about Joshua, and then David, and all the way into Solomon's time. It's hundreds of years, man.
Yeah.
That this Ark of the Covenant was just it stood the test of time as far as durability. But you see, that's why the Most High go to 2 Timothy's real quick. Now we understand about following orders, following the ordinances, man, because it's about standing the test of time, right? Now, I'm gonna say it. Why do some people's spirits not stand the test of time? Well, because they don't build their spirit to specification, to the specification of the scripture. Go to 2 Timothy 2 and verse 2. Yes, sir. Let me get some tissue.
2 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 2.
Go ahead.
And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses,
Right?
the same commit thou to faithful men.
Why was this important to commit the things that have been heard, the things that Moses heard of the Most High? Why was it important for him to commit it to a faithful man that wasn't going to deviate from the structure, that wasn't going to do his own thing when nobody was looking? Oh, like, yeah, Moses ain't looking. Nigga, I'm building this four cubits here. I'm going to put an extra cubit here. I'm going to throw a little less gold than what it tells to do. I want to keep some of that.
I'm gonna put my own artistic liberties in this.
Yeah, I'm gonna engrave my initials.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna make one of the cherubims look like me.
Right. One of the cherubims is gonna look like a bear, and the other one's gonna look like this. I'm not, because it even said the cherubim was out of one piece of gold, one piece of beaten gold. He'd have been like, nah, we gotta melt that down, and we're gonna melt and solder this part on.
Right.
Because it's too long to beat one piece of gold. God, why did things have to be built to specification on something that was carnal? Well, we see that when we follow the specifications,
Right.
things stood the test of time. Right? So read that verse 2 one more time.
Come. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 2.
Read.
And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses,
Right?
the same commit thou to faithful men,
Go ahead.
who shall be able to teach others also.
Right, jump down to verse 5.
Come. And if a man also strive for mastery.
Right, because isn't what Bezalel was doing? Said he was in cunning works. He was doing cunning works. But think about mastering your spirit and mastering the things around you. It says if a man strive for masteries, go ahead.
Yet he is not crowned.
Why? Read.
Except he strive lawfully.
Yeah, you got to strive to the specification that's laid down. The things that were committed to you from faithful men. That's why the spirit don't last long on a lot of people, because it's being handed down like, yo, this is how you get longevity in the wisdom and in the truth. Oh, I'm not gonna do it like that. Well, you ain't gonna get crowned because you're not taking what was faithfully handed down from generation, and what has been proven to work to specification for yourself. So what happens? Read verse 3.
Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua.
Right, but it's not that hard because what is a soldier's duty?
To follow.
To what? That's a soldier's duty, so it ain't that hard. All you gotta do is follow. But a lot of soldiers or brothers aspiring for soldierhood, they don't know this principle of following. So what happens? You try to go build your spiritual Ark of the Covenant.
Oh.
And what happens? Oh, it's good for like the first battle. Like, yeah, man, it got us through. I got through, Yahweh.
Yeah.
Right? I got through that war. But let it rain. Right? You built it wrong. It's too heavy to lift up. You built it wrong. You didn't put enough gold. So what happened? You left a little spot because you weren't detail orientated. When that rain hit the wood, that wood starts swelling up and start blowing up that gold. It started rotting from the inside out. Because couldn't it have done that?
Yeah.
That ark could have rotted from the inside out if they didn't overlay it with the right amount of gold. If they didn't do it to specification. But that's what happens with brothers and sisters. You don't build to you don't build your spirit to specification, and you start rotting from the inside out. And then now, in following, it becomes hard. Now I gotta endure this fake hardness. It ain't hard to endure as a soldier. You make it hard. Go ahead.
Yep.
Why? And this is why. It tells you here, read.
No man that wars
Uh-huh.
entangled himself with the affairs of this life.
Right. Was Bezalel, was he worried about, like when Moses was giving the instruction? Well, Moses, I got to go deal with my rib. I got my kids, my mama, my auntie, my house. He was like, nah, let me get this. I'm going to knock it out. He couldn't be entangled in everything else that was going on. Your job is to build this Ark of the Covenant. Why are you over here trying to build the tabernacle? Why are you over here trying to dye the ram skins? That ain't your job. See, it was about striving lawfully in what you knew was faithful. How do you know if something is faithful to follow? How do you know? Well, you see the ones that have already used it before you and their productivity and their fruit. That's how you know if something is faithful to be followed or proven to be followed. Because you see the ones that have already used it and you see the way they carry about in life. Go ahead.
That he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier.
Right, because didn't the Most High say he called Bezalel by name?
Yep.
And put the Spirit on him?
Yep.
We've all been called by name. And the Spirit has been given to us to use. But if you don't build to specification, you literally are denying the Spirit. If you ain't mastering what's being set in front of you, you're literally denying the Spirit that's allowing you to master the building that you're building. Master that task. We want to be, he said, I'm a master builder, right? Didn't Paul say that? Right? What you going to build on? Hay, stubble, wood, straw. We have been given the ability to be master builders of our spirit, but there's a way that you have to do it. You got to strive lawfully. You can't be caught up in the worldly. Right? So,
I got
what you got?
Just to add on what you just said, give me Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1. Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 1. Because, like he said, striving for masteries, this brother that was building, he didn't have to, he wasn't worried about everything else that was happening in his life. He was concerned about doing the work. He had his mind set. He said he put the Spirit on him. He was filled with the Spirit. He was zealous about doing this. This is what he wanted to do. He freely wanted to do this. Not grudgingly, not because he felt like he had to do it. But read where you at.
Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight, and the sin which doeth easily beset us.
He laid aside every weight. He didn't have to be told to, hey bro, you need to come on, consider this, consider that. He willingly just, I'm in it. I'm dropping everything else because I'm in this. The Most High filled my spirit up. He gave me the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding to work my hands, to work these tools.
No. I'm listening.
To work these tools, he laid aside himself, the things he had going on, to put into the temple, to put into this Ark of the Covenant. Read on.
And and let us run with patience the race that is set before us.
So this was a race that was set before him. This was what the Most High put before his face. This is what the Most High said. Okay, here the shittamud, here the gold, here's the jewels. Work it. I need it done like this. He wasn't worried about, what's my family up to, or what's my cousin them, what's Day and them up to. Man, I just want to relax sometimes. Man, do I really got to message this out? Can I just eye it? It's about this long. It's about this many feet. Can I just do it like that?
Stop it. You're hilarious, bro.
Oh,
You said people be wanting to remix.
Oh, yeah, all the
Instead
time.
of staying the course. Come on. That's why I said seek out the old path.
Come on.
We got to get on that course of the elders, man, and really see their level of following and being soldiers. Bro, but Bezalel was a soldier. Come here, you gonna do this. Come on. He said people be wanting to remix. Yeah, man, like we invented a remix. Everybody would have put the Diddy, like everybody's DJ Khaled all of a sudden.
Right.
You trying to take an old beat with new lyrics. Nah, man. Stick to the script. Stick to the script. Where we at?
Yeah, he put that all to the side. Did what he had right before him. Ran that race with patience.
Mustafa, the Coliseum is still around?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that. It's been a minute since I've been there. The Coliseum is where you went and got all your jewels, your jewels.
Oh,
If you wanted back in the day your Wu-Tang fangs,
oh,
you went to hit the Coliseum. Whatever you want, a nameplate, you want a name ring, right? Chicks be walking around with the door knockers. Hey, you go to the Coliseum. Mustafa know what's up. It's that New York. That's that New York swag. Like how they like here in Houston, where you go for jewels? Sharpstown, right?
you didn't even have to think about that.
Everybody know you go to Sharpstown to get your bling bling. Everybody in New York, you go to Coliseum, man. I don't know if it's like that now. I just know back in the day. Where was the Coliseum at, Mustafa? Queens? I think it was in Queens. Yeah, you'd have to go all the way to Queens, man. Yeah. Con, go ahead.
So yeah, what we're getting into is what's in the context of the contents in the Ark of the Covenant, what's inside of it. So if you want to put on your notes the contents of the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah. So we're going from how it was built and what materials to now what did it contain? What was inside of it? And this is why people are so gung-ho on trying to find it. Because of what was put inside, what was placed inside of the Ark of the Covenant. They want them tablets and these different things. They think that it's filled with gold and jewels and Christ's chalice that he drank from the Last Supper, and because the Holy Grail they call it,
Grail, yeah.
right? Yeah, they try to find these things, man, because they do have significance. But Esau, bro, you don't even want to handle these things because they're not for you. They're not for you. But go ahead, where we at?
Exodus chapter 16 and verse 32.
That's hilarious.
Exodus chapter 16 and verse 32. And Moses said, "This is the thing which the Most High commanded. Fill an omer of it to be kept for your generations, that they may see the bread wherein I have fed you in the wilderness."
So this is the bread, this is the manna. We're filling an omer of it. So you can, if you think back to the story, you remember the story. We were collecting this. We were collecting it. We were eating this daily, and then on the day before the Sabbath, we would collect double so that we can have some for the Sabbath day. And then whatever, and we tried to hold on to more past one day before the Sabbath, it would mold. It will mold, it'll get worms, it rot, it have a stink. But this manna, this is going into the Ark of the Covenant. It didn't mold, it didn't change. Look, I can almost, Most High did this, if we open up the Ark right now, it'd still be right there. If things didn't happen, what happened in history. But we'll get to that. But yeah, so the manna stayed. It stayed fresh. It stayed like it was when it was dropped. Read on.
"When I brought you forth from the land of Egypt." And Moses said,
Go ahead, read it.
And Moses said unto Aaron, take a pot, and put a omer full of manna therein, and lay it up before the Most High, to be kept for your generations. As the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up before the testimony, to be kept.
So that's it on that. So it's just a memory. You know, like you got your I remember we used to do this in elementary. I think we did it once in high school too. You'd have the little time capsules. Yeah, the time capsules. You put all your stuff in, your memories and things like that. And then at the end of the school year or like 3-4 years later, you know, you open it up and like, dang, look, this was
like, damn, gas was 10 cents 4 years ago.
Right.
Damn, like yeah, you know, it's like a time capsule.
Exactly.
But and it was, you know, a lot more. These things that we were putting in there were, I mean, think about it. What did we just read over about what was it?
The manna.
The manna. I mean, what was the significance of the manna? It was very significant, right? I mean, that manna kept us alive, but it killed some. Mm-hmm. That manna killed some of our people. Why? Because they weren't satisfied with what the Most High was giving them. So it was just these things were put in here as a memorial of the goodness of the Most High. That manna was that. You know what that was? What the manna represented every day? An everyday blessing. It represented the Most High's grace and mercy on Israel every single day. It represented the faith of the people every single day. So it's like, yeah, we're going to put some manna up in there. What else? Where we at?
All right, we're going to go to the next verse.
Lamar, I get it. Where we
Numbers chapter 17 and verse 10. So, again, the contents of the ark. So we got the manna. Now we're going to see what else is in the ark.
Numbers chapter 17, verse 10. And the Lord said unto Moses, bring Aaron's rod again before the testimony, to be kept for a token against the rebels.
Token against the who?
The rebels.
So the rebels, if you think back, if you remember the story, how Korah and Dathan, they were coming against Aaron and Moses. They're like, man, we should be in charge. Who put you in charge? You know what? The only reason why Aaron's in charge is because that's your brother Moses. That's the only reason why he's the high priest. Mm-hmm. Man, you playing favoritism.
Yep.
You know, and that's why they were coming up.
You rigged the election.
Yeah, you rigged the election. You know, it's a scam. Y'all playing us. Y'all brought us out to the wilderness just so you can run us. You know, that's how the people were coming. They were murmuring, complaining, always pointing the finger at Moses and Aaron. And this staff that is going into the ark is in memory of that. Because what happened was the earth opened up, they got swallowed up. Guess what? Israel was like, well, you know what? Maybe, just maybe they might have had something going on. And so Moses was like, okay, look, we're gonna get all the princes, all the heads of the tribes of Israel, and we're gonna write your name on the staff according to your tribe, and then we're gonna put these staffs before the covenant, and then we're gonna see who the Most High wants to be in this priestly position. And Aaron's rod budded. It said whoever's rod bud was gonna be the one who I want in that position.
Right. Also, when they went to go see Pharaoh, and wasn't there Aaron's rod that swallowed up the other rods?
God.
Right. Because they were, you know, Pharaoh's magicians were trying to replicate the Most High's. Am I right?
Yeah.
Or was that Moses's? I gotta look. Let me make sure
God.
before I speak on it.
Well, anyways, there's still the budding of the rod was to show who the Most High wanted to be in the priesthood.
Right.
And he wanted the tribe of Levi. He wanted Aaron as the high priest. And that's what, watch, read on.
And thou shalt quite take away their murmurings from me, that they die not.
So this rod was in memory of what happened, how the Most High chose the tribe of Levi to be the priest, and how the Most High chose Aaron as the high priest. It wasn't Moses. It wasn't a rigged election. It was something that the Most High wanted.
Also, go to Exodus 7 and verse 10. Yeah, it was Aaron's rod
Was Aaron's rod?
that swallowed up the other rods. Yeah. Go to Exodus 7. I just hadn't been over it in a long time. Like, wait a minute. Sometimes you gotta go back over these basic stories to get the intricacies. Exodus 7 and verse 10. Read.
Exodus chapter 7 and verse 10.
Uh-huh.
And Moses and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh,
Right.
and they did so as the Most High had commanded.
Go ahead.
And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh
Uh-huh.
and before his servants, and it became a serpent.
Right. So his rod became a serpent. Go ahead.
Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers,
Right.
now the magicians of Egypt. They also did in like manner with their enchantments.
Right. Go ahead.
For they cast down every man his rod,
So they all cast down their rods in front of Aaron's rod, and what happened?
and they became serpents.
Uh-huh.
But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods.
Yeah, man. So the significance of the rod that was placed into the Ark of the Covenant was, man, that was showing the power of the Most High, man. It destroys all sorcery and magic, right? So he said, put the rod in the ark. Jump back to where you are.
Verse 11. And Moses did so, as the Lord commanded him, so did he. The children of Israel spake unto Moses, saying, Behold, we die, we perish, we all perish.
That's it on that one. From there, we're jumping to Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 4. Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 4. Again, we're going over the contents of the ark. So far we got what? What class? Let's see if y'all taking good notes and paying attention.
Yeah.
We got the manna, okay, one. And Aaron's rod. Okay, so we got that manna that the Most High was dropping. They called it angels' food. We got Aaron's rod that budded.
Right, yes. Aaron was the voice for Moses. We went over that earlier. Yeah, we went over that earlier. He was the voice for Moses. He came to the Most High. I'm not elegant in speech, right? We were at Exodus 4, right? Real quick. But yeah, Exodus 4 and verse 10. And Moses said unto the Lord, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither hithertofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and slow of tongue. If you skip down to verse 14, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, and he said, Is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? I know that he can speak well, and also behold, he cometh forth to meet thee. And when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart. Thou shalt speak unto him and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth, and with his mouth, and will teach you what ye shall do. So yes, Aaron was the mouthpiece. Okay? Go ahead, jump back.
Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 4.
Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 4. Which had the golden censer and the Ark of the Covenant overlaid round about with gold.
So we're getting a quick description of everything that was just put into the Ark of the Covenant. We're going to get a little extra tidbit that we're going to jump back to at the end of this too. But read on.
Wherein was the golden pot that had manna.
Okay, we got the manna. Read.
Golden pot, not no Rudy Poo.
No, not no average pot. It was a golden pot. Wasn't no steel or iron pot. It was a golden pot. Read on.
And Aaron's rod that budded.
And Aaron's rod that budded. Read.
And the tables of the covenant.
Okay, so we're going to get into that. We're going to get into what that was. The tables of the covenant, you know, we all remember it. When Moses came down, he had the tablets of stone. He had the commandments on it. He was dropping these righteous laws, statutes, and commandments to the whole nation of Israel. You know, from there, we're going to jump over to Deuteronomy. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 31 and verse 24. We're going to get into the tables the tables of the covenant. You know, the Most High, He wanted these things into the ark for a reason. Kind of like how I talked about the time capsule. You sit back and memorize it, remember it. But these things are supposed to remind us. These things are supposed to remind us, hey, you know what? We rebelled against the Most High. We murmured against Aaron and Moses, people who the Most High put in charge. You know, like structure. The structure of everything. You know, the camps have structures. Your jobs have structures. Schools have structures. At home, there's supposed to be structure. And all this structure was ordained by the Most High. These people are put in their positions because that's where the Most High put them. You know, even when you go back to when Daniel was in slavery, when he was in captivity, you know what? He wasn't tripping on his position. He wasn't tripping on who was over him. He knew that the Most High had put these people over him. But guess what? Most High gave him wisdom to deal with them. But these things were memorabilia for us, to sit back and remember. Most High was constantly always giving us reminders. That's why we got the fringes. That's why we had the things in the Ark of the Covenant. That's why we got the law, statutes, commandments. We got the Bible. So we can sit back and remember all these things and go over it and meditate on these things. So it's a constant reminder of keeping our mind on the Most High, not to murmur, not to backtalk, to love your brother, to love your neighbor, treat people right. Lay down your life for what's really important, which is the Most High in Christ, the work of the ministry, all these reminders. Watch, read where you at.
Is it Deuteronomy 21, sir?
Deuteronomy chapter 31 and verse 24.
Come on. Deuteronomy 31, verse 24. And it came to pass, when Moses had made an end of writing the words of this law in a book.
So he wrote the law. The first 5 books of the scriptures is considered the Torah, the law. After he had put an end to this. Read on.
Until they were finished, that Moses commanded the Levites that bear the Ark of the Covenant of the Most High, saying.
So he commanded, so the Levites were the ones who were supposed to bear this. He didn't ask anybody in particular. He wasn't saying, oh hey, someone from the tribe of Judah put this in here. Or somebody from the tribe of Simeon put this in. Oh, Reuben, go ahead and put that in there. No, he asked the priesthood, the Levites. He said, hey, I need you to put this in here. Read on.
Take this book of the law and put it in the side of the Ark of the Covenant of the Most High, your power. But, Salah, that it may be there for a witness against thee.
For a what?
For a witness against thee.
To show you where you was off. To show you what you were doing wrong and what you need to do to get right. To show you what not to do. To show you what to do. To lift up, to exhort, to keep you on the path. That's what it was about. And the Most High wasn't always about a check. The Most High was about, hey, I don't want to have to check you. Just like when you have kids. You don't purposely let your kids go off so you can give them a whooping. You don't want to like, all right, I can't. Ooh, I'm going to put this, I didn't tell him he can't have no cookies. But I'm going to just have the cookies open right in front of him. And I'm going to put a little camera. I'm not going to be around, put a little spy cam so I can watch him go get the cookies. So I can come out with the belt and just swap across the backside. No, Most High, He put these things in here so that we can, in the scriptures, so that we can learn what we did, learn what not to do, and learn what to do. And He wanted that in the Ark of the Covenant. He wanted that in the Ark of the Covenant so we can go back and reference it as well.
Go to Romans 15 and verse 4. And yeah, that way we couldn't sit there and say what we didn't know.
Come on.
Go to Romans 15 and 4. Lamar, read down in Deuteronomy. Read down in Deuteronomy chapter 20, read verse 20, 30, 31 and verse 27. Somebody.
Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 27.
Read.
For I know thy rebellion.
He said, I know you're what?
Rebellion.
Yeah, I know how rebellious y'all are. I know how rebellious y'all are when I'm around. Watch, read on.
And thy stiff neck.
Come on.
Behold, while I am yet alive with
right?
With you, this day.
Read.
Ye have been rebellious against the Lord.
Right?
And how much more after my death?
Right. So Moses was like, listen, watch, read on. Go ahead.
Gather unto me all the elders of your tribes.
Right.
And your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears.
Right. Go ahead.
And call heaven and earth to record against them.
Wait, so the whole purpose was putting these things in the ark was to call heaven and earth to record and say, listen, these things actually happened. It wasn't no Rudy Poo stories. It wasn't no made-up comic book fairy tales. When Moses parted the Red Sea, or when Aaron's rod swallowed up other rods, or turned into a serpent and swallowed up other serpents, right? This was a recording. This was for a remembrance. Read Romans 15 and verse 4.
Romans chapter 15 and verse 4.
Right?
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
Go ahead.
That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures,
Go ahead.
might have hope.
Right. So these things, man, that were put in the ark, they were for our remembrance and for our learning. He put the law in there for us to not be ignorant and have a chance to say we didn't know. Because that ark, Moses knew that ark was going to go with us for a very long time. So he knew, okay, and when these things were put in there, they weren't took it out. It wasn't like, oh, they was eating the manna.
No. Dipping in.
Dipping into the manna and using the golden bowl as a cereal bowl for kicks. No, they left those things in there. They weren't pulling out Aaron's rod and trying to walk with it like, oh, I got me a new cane. No, they weren't doing that. Put it in there, left it. Right? Jump back.
Verse 29.
That's it on that.
So from there, we're going to go to Exodus chapter 37 and verse 3. And we're going to start getting into, so we got the structure of the ark. We got what's in the ark. Now we're going to get to who was supposed to be in charge of the ark. Who was responsible for the ark?
Who was responsible for bearing the ark? Because we know who built it. It was a Danite and a Judite. Now, you got to really see the power of the Most High in this. Where he let a Judite and a Danite build the ark. They touched it. They did everything they needed to do to get this ark up and going. And then after that, y'all know nobody can touch it but Levi. Life and death if you touch this ark and you were in a Levite. And then it wasn't just Levite. It had to be a specific family that was in charge of at that time. It wasn't just the Levites. It wasn't just every single Levite family was just dealing with the ark. You had a family that was in charge of the ark because you had families within the tribes. Y'all know that, right? Families. There was a family within the tribes. Go ahead.
Exodus 37 verse 3. And he cast for it 4 rings of gold to be set by the 4 corners of it.
Right.
Even 2 rings upon the one side of it.
Okay, so we're back to the architecture of the Ark of the Covenant. So we got these rings. Read on.
And 2 rings upon the other side of it.
Read.
And he made staves of shittim wood and overlaid them with gold.
Okay, so we got the rings. We're going back to the rings, revisiting this. The rings, the staves. Read.
And he put the staves into the rings by the side of the ark to bear the ark.
To do what for the ark?
To bear the ark.
So wasn't nobody just handling the ark any old kind of way. It had these staves, and it was propped up, and they carried it around off of the staves. From there, go to Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 8.
Yeah, he wasn't just getting fingerprints all over the ark, man. Just touching it and just fondling the ark and just, the ark, there was a way that they carried it. They used those staves. Very important. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 8. At that time, the Most High separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of the Most High.
He separated Levi for this duty to deal with the Ark of the Covenant. And like Quatazab said, it wasn't just all the Levites. The least of the Levites couldn't just go touching on the ark and putting their fingerprints on it. But only Levi, the tribe of Levi was able to deal with it, the high priest. Read on.
To stand before the Most High, to minister unto him, and to bless in his name unto this day.
So they were always in charge of the Ark of the Covenant. It wasn't for everybody to deal with. And a quick little tidbit on why, and an example of history of what happened when someone else felt like they can touch the Ark of the Covenant. Watch. From there, give me 1 Chronicles chapter 15 and verse 2. And this is just going into a little more edification about Levi.
1 Chronicles 15, verse 2. Then David said, none ought to carry the ark of the Most High, but the Levites.
No, everybody can carry the ark.
None ought to carry the ark of the Most High, but the Levites.
The Danites and the Judites can carry it because they helped make it.
None ought to carry the ark of the Most High, but the Levites.
It says just Levi can do it. Just the Levites can carry it. Because it wasn't for everybody to still to handle. Read on.
Right, so this was handed all the way down to David. This is hundreds of years later, man.
Oh yeah, think about the time.
Yeah, this wasn't like 5-6 years later. This was handed down all the way to David, and David knew, okay. How did David know, though? Well, David was taught through oral, through the law. It was shown. These are, this was the law, too. Things like this were law. Like, don't touch the ark if you ain't a Levite. These were part of the things that David had to know as a king, that the people had to know. It was life and death. What's that?
And the same like I was bringing out earlier about the specific instruction of building the ark.
Right.
They can look at the ark and know that what it was.
Right.
Not just being boys.
Right. Yeah. You knew that this was the Ark of the Covenant, bro. You knew better. Right. But go ahead, read on.
For them, the Most High had chosen to carry the ark of the Most High, and to minister unto him, Salah, forever.
All right, from there, give me 2 Samuel chapter 6 and verse 6. And we're going to get more into how not everybody was able to touch this. And just like they say in the world, and we know through science, to every action there's a reaction. Read where you at, brother.
2 Samuel chapter 6 and verse 6. And when they came to the Shun threshing floor, Uzziah put forth his hand to the ark of Yahweh and took hold of it, for the oxen shook it.
Okay, so it's traveling, and the ox kind of moved, and it shook, and he's like, oh, hold on, this is an important object. I don't want it to fall. Let me help it out. Let me help out that ark. Let me help prop it up. Even though I already know that this ark takes 4 people to carry, and these oxen can't carry it right either. But let me use my one hand, my one arm strength.
Let me help the Most High.
Let me help the Most High with my arm of flesh.
Let me help the Most High. Like that's what he was thinking. That pride in him.
That pride. He's like, man, this is beautiful. Ain't nobody touched this ever, but the tribe of Levi. Man, I want to see what it feels like. Oh my.
He wasn't thinking that. He was thinking, it's like the scriptures say, obedience is better than sacrifice.
Yeah.
He should have been obedient to what the Most High laid down and what David told him. That don't touch this ark, man. Only the Levites. I'm sure Uzzah was of a different tribe. I was looking for it. Where are we at? 2 Samuel 6, right?
2 Samuel chapter 6 and verse 7.
Right, go ahead.
And the anger of the Most High was kindled against Uzzah. And Yahweh smote him, therefore his error. And there he died by the ark of Yahweh.
So he dropped dead. Most High struck him. He didn't hit him with a little plague, and he got sick for a little bit. Nah. You knew what you were supposed to do. You knew what you weren't supposed to do. He struck him down dead on the spot. when you read on that chapter, David was like, dang. He was like, man, I didn't. Most High.
So David was afraid of the Lord that day and said, how shall the ark of the Lord come to me? He was like, man, I don't want to mess with this.
Do I even want this? What if I get a little tipsy and touch it on accident?
All you got to do is just follow instructions. That's it. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Follow instructions, man. Where we at?
From there, we're going to go to 1 Chronicles chapter 15 and verse 15. And we told you what the staffs were for, what the rings were for, and the tribe that was supposed to carry it. And we told you, we said how it was used, but we're going to let the scriptures go ahead and explain how it was used. Read that. Who got it? Go ahead, Ahmad.
1 Chronicles chapter 15, verse 15. And the children of the Levites bare the ark of God upon their shoulders, with the staves thereon.
So they had the ark on the staffs. They bared it on their shoulders. So they weren't holding it like a wheelbarrow. They weren't like two people on one staff. They held it on the staves.
On their shoulders.
On their shoulders. Propped up. Read on.
As Moses commanded according to the word of the Lord.
Because that's how the Most High said he wanted his ark carried. They were following orders. Kicking pride, kicking selfishness, the way they want to do it. They did it the way Moses dropped it, and that they were ordered from Moses through the Most High to carry the ark. And now we're going to transition into what the ark was used for, because it had different purposes. From there, go to Exodus chapter 25 and verse 22.
And really, this is going to show the power and the majesty of the ark. Because, truly, we couldn't use it for anything without the blessing of the Most High. The ark was useless to us if the Most High didn't put his spirit on it. So, it shows the majesty of how the Most High use something carnal, man, to show his majesty and show how great he was. Right? So where you at?
Exodus 25, verse 22. And there I will meet thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat.
So, the glory of the Most High spoke from between the mercy seat. So, the Most High was communicating, counseling, guiding, instructing from this carnal object. He could have used anything. He could have came to Moses the way he normally came. He could have spoke to Moses any other way, but he set this up so that they had a place to go. Israel, our people throughout the generations have been very cardinal. We got to see something. We got to
Cardinal?
God.
Go ahead.
We got to see something. We got to have a physical object that we can see. Not that they were commanded to worship it, but he just said, I'm up here right here. Read on.
The Jews seek a sign, the Greeks seek after knowledge.
That's right.
So the Most High basically had us build this Ark of the Covenant, cherubims, mercy seat in the middle, so that his glory would appear in the cloud above it. So the people could say what? God is with us. First of all, we had a cloud and a pillar. Cloud by day, pillar by night. What else would we need? What else did we need? And then not everybody could come and see this either. This was Moses. This was Moses that was able to come and deal with that and see this. Go ahead.
From between the two cherubims, which are upon the ark of the testimony.
Right, go ahead.
Of all things which I will give thee in commandment unto the children of Israel.
Right, so this is where the Most High was giving Moses instruction. This is where all the instructions was coming from Moses after, it was no longer a burning bush. It was no longer anything like that. He came, the glory of the Most High appeared above this mercy seat.
So that's one of the functions of it. The function of it was to commune with Moses, to commune with Aaron, to give them instruction on whatever they're about to set out to do. From there, give me Numbers chapter 7 and verse 89.
Everybody with us?
Come.
Any questions so far?
Uh-huh.
Come.
Come.
Numbers chapter 7, verse 89.
7 and 89.
The book of Numbers, chapter 7 and verse 89. And when Moses was going into the tabernacle of the congregation to speak with him, then he heard the voice of one speaking unto him from off the mercy seat that was upon the ark of the testimony, from between the two cherubims, and he spake unto him.
So that's just reiterating, saying that the Most High did speak from off the mercy seat, from off the Ark of the Covenant to Moses. He spoke to Moses. He dealt with Aaron. From there, we're going to go to Leviticus chapter 16 and verse 1.
And remember, it was the glory of the Most High. It wasn't, remember, no man has seen the Most High, his shape, or heard his voice at any time. So it was always the glory of the Most High that came down. It wasn't that, Moses heard the Most High's voice, or like even when it said he spoke to him face to face like a friend speaking to his friend. No, that was always the glory or an angel. It was never the Most High, ultimate power, ultimate creator. All right, so we just gotta always make that clear. And I know everybody in here gets that. Just for everybody online that might be a little bit unsure, this wasn't the Most High power himself coming down onto some seat to talk to little old Moses. No, it didn't work like that. Go ahead.
Leviticus 18:1?
Leviticus chapter 16, verse 1.
Come. Leviticus chapter 16, verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron, when they offered before the Most High and died.
So this is after they offered the strange incense, and Aaron's sons died, and Aaron was told not to mourn for them. But this is just another example of the Most High speaking and where he was speaking from. Read on.
And the Most High said unto Moses, Speak unto Aaron thy brother, that he come not at all times into the holy place within the veil before the mercy seat.
So he's saying, look, let your brother know, let Aaron know. Don't just be coming in here anytime. This is not a common thing to do. This is not the purpose just for you to just come to the ark just for any and every reason.
Well, they couldn't appear at the ark either when the glory of the Most High appeared. You couldn't appear there because you'd be wiped out. It was so much power. So he was warning them.
God.
When I appear, when the glory appears on this seat, y'all can't be around like that because you'll get wiped out of here. It's gonna tell you. Go ahead.
Which is upon the ark, that he die not.
That he what?
That he die not.
Right.
Yeah.
It's powerful. Come on, man. Imagine you there when the glory appears and you look at that and just die. It wipes you out. It just melts you. Man, go ahead.
For I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat.
Yeah, he was in that cloud. He wasn't in the cloud, but the glory of the Most High was represented through that cloud. Mm-hmm. So, thus far, we got one functionality of the Ark of the Covenant. The Most High communicated with us from there. From there, give me Numbers chapter 10 and verse 33. It's another function of the Ark of the Covenant. Because we had wars. We were moving around. We were moving around the wilderness. We had to go into the promised land. We had to fight different peoples. Different peoples was coming up against us. And the Most High, he always went before us in all of our battles, especially when we're in our righteous mind, he was. When we're in our wickedness, shoot, he hung back and said, you do you. But anyways, read where you at right now, bro.
The book of Numbers, chapter 10 and verse 33. And they departed from the mount of the Most High, 3 days' journey. And the ark of the covenant of the Most High went before them in the 3 days' journey to search out a resting place for them.
So the ark went 3 days before they left. So the Most High went and cleared the way, set up the spot before they even came with the rest of Israel. Now, just a little insight on my prayer sometimes. When I pray, I ask the Most High to go before me and make clear the path, straight the road and straight and flat the road, and remove all hindrance from what I need to do for the day. And it's the same thing that he did here back in the days, back in the ancient times. He went and prepared the way for us. Just like here in these latter days, he's preparing the way for us. He's preparing that heavenly kingdom for us, Yahushua. He said, I got my Father's house has many mansions, and I'm going to prepare a place for you. So the Most High has always had our interest in mind beforehand, before we even get to where we're going, before we even set foot to whatever arena that we're getting ready to go into. The Most High has already cleared the path and made it ready for us, especially when we're in our right mind. When we're in that wickedness, he prepared something else for us. But read on.
Numbers chapter 10 and verse 34. And the cloud of the Most High was upon them by day, when they went out of the camp. And it came to pass, when the ark set forward, that Moses said, Rise up, Yahweh, and let thine enemies be scattered. And
So the Most High, he said, rise up. He says, because the Most High is the one that fights for you. The Most High is the one that goes to war for you. He's the one that knuckles up for you. It says that if God is with me, who can be against me? So it was the Most High that fought our battles. Look, whenever we're going through something, don't ever feel like you can take the glory for whatever victory that you got. Best believe that it was the Most High that fought for you. He just used you in it. Sometimes we'll be in a battle and things work out before we even get there. We might be going through something while we're at work. Family members sick. Kids, something happened with kids. Something happened with the car. Something happened with the house. And we at work. We don't know what's going on. But when we get out, for some reason, it's all taken care of. For some reason, the calamity that was hitting me while I was doing what I was supposed to be doing had cleared up. The storm passed by. All I did was stay the course of what was set before me, and the Most High took care of the rest. But that's when you're fighting for righteousness' sake. That's when you're keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's when you're doing the work of the Most High. Read on.
And let them that hate thee flee before thee. And when it rested, he said, Return, O Yahweh, unto the many thousands of Israel.
Because he stayed with us. The Most High said, I chose you above all nations upon the face of the earth. He didn't want nobody else. He wasn't trying to rest with nobody else. He wanted to stay with his people. Yasha, Israel. From there, give me Joshua chapter 3 and verse 3.
Real quick, give me Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 33. Yeah, you got to see it. We wandered around the wilderness for 40 years. Did we know where we were going? No, we didn't. We didn't know where we were going. That's why every time we went and picked up and went somewhere, what did we cry about? Hunger and thirst. Because we didn't know where we were going. We wandered around in circles, man. But the Most High knew where he was letting us and why. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 33.
Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 33.
Go ahead.
Who went in the way before you,
right,
to search you out a place to pitch your tents in.
Right. The ark went. The Ark of the Covenant went. The Most High went or the glory of the Lord went in that cloud and that pillar. But the Ark of the Covenant went with it. Go ahead.
In the fire by night, to show you by what way ye should go, and in the cloud by day.
Go to Exodus 33 and verse 14. So we got to see that the presence of the Most High was always with us. But we needed carnal representation, man. We were so far gone that we needed carnal representation at every turn. Exodus 33 and verse 14.
Exodus chapter 33 and verse 14. And he said, my presence shall go with thee,
Right?
and I will give thee rest.
And I will do what?
Give thee rest.
Yeah, you don't give yourself rest, man. The Most High goes with you to do what?
Give thee rest.
To give you rest in the form of destroying and scattering the enemy before you even show up. Go ahead.
And he said unto him, if thy presence go not with me, carry us not up hence.
Uh-huh.
For wherein shall it be known here that I and thy people have found grace in thy sight?
Go ahead.
Is it not in that thou goest with us?
Read.
So shall we be separated,
Uh-huh.
I and thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth.
Go ahead.
And the Most High said unto Moses, I will do this thing also,
Right?
that thou hast spoken, for thou hast found grace in my sight, and I know thee by name.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, y'all see that? Where the Most High, he's like, I'm with y'all. I'm going to always be with y'all. This is part of my grace. Think about it. As we go down, y'all going to see, like, the nations knew it. The nations understood this verbatim. How come we don't? How come the nations understand more about our power than we do? Even until this day. Even until this day, the nations will roll up like, yeah, y'all are real children of Israel. You'll have some stiff-necked nigga talking about, no, I'm not. I'm a Christian. What the hell are you talking about? The white man is telling you who you are and who he's not. Were you so caught up in church and pastor? No, I'm not. I'm an American. Or I'm a gay American. Right? It's like, man, the nations have a better understanding of our whole way of living, or our true way of living, of our nationality, of our artifacts and the things that brought us power. They got more on this. They believe in prayer more than some of us do.
Oh,
Esau, they be calling them prayer warriors. Right? We got the prayer hotline and call for prayer. Like, they understand that prayer works. But you got stiff-head Kermit niggas online talking about y'all praying to some God. Like, come on, Kermit. Y'all praying to some dog-headed dudes, gods too, right? With eagle heads and weird dress codes and fake beards. Like,
right.
But we understand our prayers get heard.
That's right.
Ra and El and all them, they ain't hearing y'all's prayers. So, but our people are so quick to bash the power of the Most High, but you got nations. Wow, we're going to get into it. You got nations that feared the Most High, man. They feared. Are we even there yet, or am I jumping?
Oh, you jumping.
I'm getting hyped.
You jumping.
Turn it up. But they feared the Most High. They feared our artifacts. Go back. I don't want to jump, so go back to where he's at. I'm getting
Joshua
hyped.
chapter 3 and verse 3.
Start getting amped.
You're going to take that to verse 11. Now,
Josh-
the setting of where we're at, you know, Moses is gone, Joshua's in charge, and we getting ready to go into this hostile territory. We ready. We geared up, full of faith, strength, confidence. We got the Ark of the Covenant with us. We got the Most High with us. Read on. Read where you at, bro.
And they Joshua chapter 3 and verse 3. And they commanded the people, saying, when ye see the Ark of the Covenant of the Most High your God, and the priests, the Levites bearing it, then ye shall remove from your place and go after it.
You're supposed to follow. When you see the Ark go, you go.
Shit, that was a sign.
Yeah, that's. Hey, when I move, you move.
Right, just like that.
Just like that. That's what the Most High is saying.
That trumpet blew, that ark got up, bam. That was the cue. It didn't matter what time. It didn't matter if it was raining. It didn't matter what you was doing. That ark went, all right, it's time. Because who was controlling it? It was the Most High knew when. He knew when to move. Go ahead.
Read on.
Yet there shall be a space between you and it, about 2,000 cubits by measure.
Because I'm clearing the way for you. I'm making sure the path is set. Like I said, like I told y'all about my prayers from time to time. Straight, flat the road, and remove all the interference so that I can go out and accomplish your will, O Most High. This is what the Most High did for us. They didn't even have to ask for this. The Most High already prepared it.
So, man, that is, so how many cubits?
2,000 cubits by measure.
So 2,000 cubits. How many yards is a football field? 100, right? From end zone to end zone. Dude, this was 1,000 yards. If I'm not making a mistake, it's 1,000 football fields, right?
No,
Or
10.
10. I'm tripping. That's still a good distance.
Yeah.
10 football fields? Like, you couldn't get no closer. You couldn't get no closer. Because when it started to pop off, that ark was going to do his thing, man. It was going to do his thing. I would love to be there, man, to see it.
It's like a mile and something.
What, 10 football fields?
Like one lap around the track is like
That's 400 yards. That's 800. That's the 400.
400
That's 400 meters. 400 meters.
Which is like 10 more.
We trying to do too many calculations.
Oh yeah.
That's a little over a football field.
It's a little over a football field.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because the
Okay.
meter is 3 feet.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find out how many meters it is.
Oh yeah.
I got it right here. Meters.
So as he's getting there, it's 1,000. I'm guessing it's about 2,000. Oh, I stand correction. The water.
2,000 cubits.
I'm guessing it's about at least a mile and a half. But we don't see what.
No, it's a little bit. It's less than a mile.
It's less than a mile.
Yeah, it's 0.568 miles.
Oh, so it's a half a mile.
About a half a mile.
So it was a half a mile. So it was a half a mile out. The Ark of the Covenant was before us, clearing out the path, making sure ain't nothing's gonna hinder us, making sure we're not gonna get ambushed, making sure no wild beast is not gonna run up on us. It's clearing and making the way. Read on.
Come not near unto it, that ye may know the way by which ye must go.
Because it's blazing the trail for you. Read.
For ye have not passed this way there hereto. Before.
Like I said, he's blazing the trail. If you know anything about blazing the trail, a trailblazer is someone that went down a path that's never been gone down before. So the Most High is saying, I'm going to make this way for you so that you can go down it. What do Yahushua do for us? He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father but by me. I'm going to blaze this path because all throughout the centuries, y'all weren't getting it right. I'm going to blaze this path, and all you got to do is hop on it. Just follow behind me, and you're going to get there.
Follow the light, baby.
Just follow the light. You got a question, Jermaine?
Question. So so in Joshua chapter 3, 3 through 4, are we saying that, or is it saying that the Levites were carrying this, or was this the Ark of the Covenant moving by itself?
No, they were carrying.
Yeah, they're carrying.
Yeah, they were carrying.
And
No, it didn't move by itself.
Okay, so
At one time, the Levites carried it. The time when Uzzah got killed, they had it on a cart,
okay.
and the oxen were pulling it, and the oxen did a move and it shifted, and he tried to grab it.
Oh wow.
Right, and you gotta, as you go through the story, the ark was moved and took it and stolen, so it had to be carried out in different ways. But at this time, these times, no, the Levites were carrying it. They were going before everybody.
Oh, okay, and so Israelites had to stay back.
Everybody else
about a
stood
half a
back
mile.
about a half a mile. It would search out. Oh, Most High would say, stay here. Boom. That cloud would pause. This is where we're going to pitch tent. Remember, this happened for 40 years. So when we moved, it wasn't no whack little move like, oh, let me gather my books, grab 2 books and go. Bro, we had to break down the tabernacle. That wasn't small. It wasn't like your modern day. You ever see those like circus tents?
Yeah.
Bro, it was bigger than that. This thing was huge. It was huge. So to break down and in the whole camp of Israel, if you understood how the camp of Israel was set up, you had the tabernacle, Ark of the Covenant within the holies of holies, right in the center. All the Levites, and then you had all the tribes around it. Remember, Levites never went to war. but you had all the tribes with the different warriors, and they protected Levi. You see what I'm saying? So when we picked up and moved, bro, it wasn't nothing small. You're talking about 600,000 people getting up and just moving?
Power.
It was a rumbling. They heard us coming, but that ark had to make that way for us to go the right way. Go ahead.
The book of Joshua, chapter 3 and verse 5. And Joshua said unto the people,
Right.
sanctify yourselves.
Get yourself ready. We getting ready to do this. Y'all ready? That's what he's saying. Get ready. Get ready for what we about to go into. We about to get this milk and honey. But we're going to fight for it. Most High said he with us. Most High is going before us. We're going to get this land of that flows with milk and honey, that got grapes that's the size of basketballs. We're going to get all this goodness. We're going to go to war with it. We're going to glory in this war. My brother Lamad here, he likes the wars.
Where we at? Where we at?
The book of Joshua, chapter 3 and verse 5.
Oh, okay.
Okay, read
Second
on.
precept. Sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow the Most High will do wonders among you.
We'll do what?
Wonders among you.
Man, he's gonna turn out. He's gonna turn up, show out. Most High is gonna do some things. Get ready. Get ready to see these things. Just like we've been getting ready. Us in this room, y'all online, we've been getting ready. We've been getting our spirits ready to see what the Most High is gonna do to this America. We've been getting ready to see what he's gonna do to the nations. We've been sanctifying ourselves, washing, cleansing, setting ourselves apart through these scriptures. Because we're ready. We're getting ready to see what's about to go down. You hear what's going on in the news. You heard about that earthquake that happened out in California. You heard what's going on with how Trump is treating Iran. Iran is upset. I was going to use some other words, but I'm keeping it PG up in here. The whole world is going, it's about to go down. So we sanctifying ourselves. That's what Joshua was saying. Get ready. Sanctify yourself because it's about to go down. Read.
Verse 6. And Joshua spake unto the priests, saying, take up the Ark of the Covenant, and pass over before the people. And they took up the Ark of the Covenant, and went before the people. And the Most High said unto Joshua, this day will I begin to magnify thee in the sight of all Israel.
So he's saying, I'm going to lift you up. I'm going to make you the star. I'm going to make all nations understand who you are. You're the apple of my eye. You're my chosen people. You're the ones who I've called to be above all people upon the face of the earth. And they're going to know this.
Right, but in this specific scripture, read it one more time.
Good. The book of Joshua, chapter 3 and verse 7.
Right.
And the Lord said unto Joshua.
Right, so this was the Most High speaking to Joshua. Go ahead.
This day will I begin to magnify thee.
Right.
In the sight of all Israel.
Go ahead.
That they may know that as I was with Moses.
Right.
So I will be with thee.
Right. So the Most High was gonna lift Joshua up and show the people, look, I'm with Joshua, just like how he was with Moses. How was he able to do that? Well, he gave Joshua command of the Levites. It's gonna tell us. Read on.
And thou shalt command the priest.
You should do what?
Command the priest.
Read.
That bear the Ark of the Covenant. Saying, when ye are come to the brink of the water of Jordan, ye shall stand still in Jordan. And Joshua said unto the children of Israel, come hither, and hear the words of the Most High your power. And Joshua said, hereby ye shall know that the living power is among you, and that he will without fail drive out from before you the Canaanites.
He will do what?
Drive out from before you.
He's not playing with these people. The Most High is not playing with these different nations that set up in the wrong place. The Most High didn't tell them to set up there. That's our land. They set up in the wrong spot. They about to get driven out, wiped out, ran away with their tail tucked between their legs. Most High is ready. He said, get ready. He's saying, Joshua, look, Just like I was with Moses, I'm with you. Let's go do this. Let's roll. Go ahead.
The Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Hivites, and the Perizzites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Jebusites.
All the ites. All the ites. Everything that got an ite on it, you gonna wipe them out. We gonna drive them from before you. I don't care what kind of ite it is. We getting rid of all the ites right now. If it ain't Israelite, we ain't dealing with it. We getting rid of all the ites. Read on.
Read verse 11.
Behold, the Ark of the Covenant of the Most High, of all the earth, passing over before you into Jordan.
Right. Now go to Joshua 6 and 3. Because what we're trying to show is that this ark, the Ark of the Covenant, went before us in battle. And one of the most prominent battles, everybody knows it. What was one of the most famous things about the Ark of the Covenant? Who knows? I gotta get y'all Ark of the Covenant knowledge up. Well, we're gonna read it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Joshua 6 and 3, right?
The book of Joshua, chapter 3, 6 and verse 3.
6 and verse 3, yeah. Go ahead.
And ye shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go round about the city
Right.
once.
So the city was Jericho. We went into Jericho, right? And so the instruction was to not go and beat down the walls and jump over the walls and do anything like that. He just said to do what?
Go around the city once.
Right. Walk around the city one time with the ark. Go ahead.
Thou shalt do 6 days, and 7 priests shall bear before the ark
Right.
7 trumpets of ram's horns. And the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times.
Right. That number of completion. Go ahead.
And the priest shall blow with the trumpets.
Read.
And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout.
Right.
And the wall of the city shall fall down flat.
So you mean to tell me that 7 ram's horns and the people yelling was going to knock down some walls? 7 of these and a few people yelling. Now, something very important here. We're going to hit it, but go ahead, read.
And the people shall ascend up, every man straight before him.
Now, you see there was instruction given. You're going to go, you're going to walk around once. You're going to do it 6 days. On the 7th, you're going to walk around 7 times. You're going to blow the ram's horn. Everybody's going to yell. Wall's going to fall. That took what? What's the U word?
Unity.
Unity. Right? That took unity. Same mind, same judgment. Because what if a few people didn't want to yell? Then we right? They would have been out of sync. Go ahead, read.
Joshua chapter 6 and verse 6. And Joshua, the son of Nun, called the priests and said unto them, take up the Ark of the Covenant.
So he's doing his part. Go get the ark. Go ahead.
And let 7 priests bear.
7 priests, not 8, not 9, not 5. 7. Go ahead.
7 trumpets of ram's horns.
There's 7 ram's horns, not 2 ram's horns for each man. So he's following verbatim what the Most High said. Read on.
Before the Ark of the Most High.
Uh-huh.
And he said unto the people, pass on, and compass the city, and let him that is armed pass on before the Ark of the Most High. And it came to pass, when Joshua had spoken unto the people, that the 7 priests, bearing the 7 trumpets of ram's horns, passed on before the Most High, and blew with the trumpets.
Uh-huh.
And the Ark of the Covenant of the Most High followed them.
Go ahead.
And the armed men went before the priest that blew with the trumpets. And the reward came after the ark, the priest going on and blowing with the trumpets.
Go ahead.
And Joshua had commanded the people, saying, ye shall not shout,
Right.
nor make any noise
Go
with
ahead.
your voice.
Go ahead.
Neither shall any word proceed out of your mouth.
So Y'all gotta just not be quiet. Read.
Until the day I bid you shout,
Right.
then shall ye shout. So the ark of the Most High compassed the city, going about it once.
Mm-hmm.
And they came into the camp and lodged in the camp. And Joshua rose early in the morning, and the priests took up the ark of the Most High, and 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Most High went on continually, and blew with the trumpets, and the armed men went before them. But the rearward came after the ark of the Most High, the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets.
Right. So you gotta read to verse 20. Go ahead.
And the second day they compassed the city once and returned into the camp. So they did 6 days. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day,
Right.
and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times.
Right. Go ahead.
Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priests blew the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, shout, for the Most High had given you the city, and the city shall be accursed, even it
Ooh.
and all that are therein, to the Most High. Only Rahab, the harlot, shall live.
Right. Because remember, the promise was made to Rahab because of what she did for the 2 spies.
That's right.
They said, put the scarlet in your window. Whoever's in your house shall be fine. Go ahead.
She and all that are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. And ye in any wise keep yourselves from the accursed thing,
Right.
lest ye make yourselves accursed.
Right.
When ye take of the accursed thing, and make the camp of Israel a curse.
Because we weren't supposed to take any spoils
That's right.
from Jericho. And you know, some stiff that niggas did. They went and got the Babylonian garment and the gold, and they made Israel accursed. Go ahead.
And troubled it. But all the silver
Uh-huh.
and gold
Read.
and vessels of brass and iron are consecrated unto the Most High. They shall come into the treasury of the Most High.
Right. Read verse 20.
So the people shouted when the priests blew with the trumpets.
Right.
And it came to pass, when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat, so that the people went up.
Wait, the walls did what?
Fell down flat,
Damn. Go ahead.
so that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city.
21.
And they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman,
Right.
young and old, and ox, and sheep, and ass, with the edge of the sword.
So what was, think about this. Most High said, go to the city, don't make a sound, walk around it 6 days in a row, once. What did you have to have? What did you have to have here?
Patience.
You have to have patience. But he said, if you do this, and then on the 7th day, all you're going to do is walk around it 7 times and blow the horns, and the walls is going to fall. What did you have to have there?
Faith.
Go to Hebrews 11 and 3rd. Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11 and verse 30. Get it, Lamont. Hebrews 11 and verse 30.
Hebrews chapter 11, verse
So
30.
the ark wasn't just this thing that we could just show up with and all of a sudden it just kill people and destroy things. Read.
By faith, the walls of Jericho.
Wait, no, by the ark.
By faith, the walls of
But
Jericho.
the ark was so beautiful, it had shit on wood and gold.
By faith, the wall of Jericho
Right.
fell down
Right?
after they were compassed about 7 days.
You see that? It was by faith that the ark had its power. we have to believe in it. That if the Most High said it's going to go and make the way, that we don't go make our own way. We have to have the faith in what the Most High said at all times. Faith was always, that's why he said, without faith it's impossible to please me. It's impossible to please the Most High, without faith. So even here with the ark being so powerful, a man touching it died. Right? It went before us and cleared the way, but you have to have the faith that the Most High was going to do that, and don't take it upon yourself. It said it. By faith was the walls of Jericho fallen. Because why? We followed the instruction that the Most High gave us. Remember, striving lawfully? Right? Remember, being masteries? It's all by faith and following what was laid down. Go from there, go to Numbers 14 and verse 42, right? And this is going to show you where when we didn't move in faith, it didn't matter. That ark wasn't going to be a power to us when we didn't move in faith, man. Read.
The book of Numbers, chapter 14 and verse 42. Go not up, for the Most High is not among you, that ye be not smitten before your enemies.
So the Most High ain't with us. He ain't with what you about to do. Go, read.
For the Amalekites and the Canaanites are there before you, and ye shall fall by the sword, because ye are turned away from the Most High.
Because you what?
Are turned away from the Most High.
Read on.
Therefore the Most High will not be with you. But they presumed to go up unto the hilltop. Nevertheless, the Ark of the Covenant of the Most High and Moses departed not out of the camp.
The Ark of the Covenant stayed back. Moses stayed back. He wasn't going. They weren't going out. The glory of the Most High didn't roll with them. They was going on their own.
Yeah, because if you understand this story, this was when the Most High said to go spy out the land of Canaan. We came back we just went over it in Sabbath, right? Go spy out the land. They came back with the evil report. Most High, what did he do? He wiped out half of us with a plague. Then the other half was like, oh no, we're going to go out and get the land, Yahweh. He was like, listen, don't go. I'm not with y'all. But that Ark of the Covenant is what went before us to go fight or clear the path, that pillar. But the Most High said, man, my glory ain't with y'all. And what happened? We went and got whooped on. Go ahead.
The book of Numbers, chapter 14 and verse 45. Then the Amalekites came down, and the Canaanites, which dwelt in the hill, and smote them, and discomfited them, even unto Hormah.
Like what Zop just said, we got whooped on. We got a spanking. Got sent home with our tails between our legs. But that's when we was trying to do our own thing. We're rebellious, stiff-necked, hard-headed, faithless. I was like, okay, now we're going to have faith in ourselves. Yeah, we can do it now. Most High said, I ain't with you. I'm not with it now. Moses stayed back. Ark of the Covenant stayed back. From there, we're going to hit Romans chapter 8 and verse 5. Because the reason why the people start to think as the Ark of the Covenant as something that was so majestic, so special, that this was why they won battles. This is why prosperity came to Israel, because we got the Ark of the Covenant. This is why all these good things happen to us, because we got it and don't nobody else. They're looking at it like a four-leaf clover. You know, Israel's cardinal. But what the scripture say about being cardinal? Read where you at.
Romans 8, verse 5. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit.
We were after the flesh. We've been after the flesh. We got to be after the Spirit. Read on.
For to be carnally minded is death.
To be carnally minded is what?
Is death.
Read.
But to be spiritually minded is life and peace.
Now that death, we're going to see some historical evidence of what happens when you're carnally minded. But read on.
Because the carnal mind is enmity against God.
It's against the Most High. Read.
For it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be.
From there, give me 1 Samuel chapter 4 and verse 1. 1 Samuel chapter 4, verse 1.
First Samuel chapter 4, verse 1. And the word of Samuel came to all Israel. Now Israel went out against the Philistines to battle.
So we're getting ready to go fight. We're in the war right now. Read.
And pitched beside Ebenezer, and the Philistines pitched in Aphek. And the Philistines put themselves in array against Israel. And when they joined battle, Israel was smitten before the Philistines.
So we're getting whooped. We're out there fighting. We're getting whooped. Read.
And they slew of the army in the field about 4,000 men.
Read.
And when the people were come into the camp, the elders of Israel said, Wherefore hath the Lord smitten us today before the Philistines? Let us fetch the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord out of Shiloh unto us, that when it cometh among us, it may save us out of the hands of the enemies.
So they're not like, let's look to the Most High to save us from our enemies. They said, let us fetch the ark. Let's go get it to save us from our enemies. They
start idolizing the ark.
They started idolizing the ark.
We start idolizing. It's sad, man. It's sad that we idolize we turn everything into some type of idol worship. But all it really is that we get comfortable and we forsake the Most High. We forsake the rock that begot us, man. The power that begot us. We forsake Him. What? It says that we worship the creature more than the Creator. Because we do it. We worship the things that are created more than the thing that creates them. So here it is here. Go ahead.
Read on.
Verse 4. So the people sent to Shiloh that they might bring from thence the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord of hosts, which dwelleth between the cherubims. And the two sons of Eliphalet and Phinehas were Phineas were there with the Ark of the Covenant of the Most High.
Who was there with it?
Hophni and Phineas.
Right, this is Eli's two sons. Remember Eli? Remember his two sons, Hophni and Phineas, the two greedy sons that were they were meeting chicks at the door of the temple to sleep with them, and they were stealing extra offering and taking the meat raw. Yep. Remember that when we went over the birth of Samuel?
Yep.
Go ahead. So Hophni and Phineas, they had the ark with them. Go ahead.
And when the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord came into the camp, all Israel shouted with a great shout, so that the earth rang again.
So they were happy. They're like, oh, shoot. We got our 4-leaf clover. We in this.
The ark is here.
The ark is here. They turned up. Yeah, we got it now. We won. We gonna win. Look, we got the ark. We got the magical, majestic, mystical ark that grants all your wishes. But you can't rub it because if you do, you'll die. But we got it with us. We gonna win. Victory is ours already. Read on.
When the Philistines heard the noise of the shout, they said, What meaneth the noise of the great shout in the camp of the Hebrews? And they understood that the ark of the Lord was come into the camp. And the Philistines were afraid, for they said, The Most High is come into the camp. And they said, Woe unto us, for there had not been such a thing heretofore. Woe unto us, who shall deliver us out of the hands of these mighty gods? These are the gods that smote the Egyptians with all the plagues in the wilderness.
So they were shook. They're like, oh shoot, they knew about what happened in Egypt. They knew about the Israelites. They're like, dang, okay, man, we a little shooken up. We might not make it through this. But read on.
Verse 9. Be strong and quit yourselves like men, O ye Philistines.
Oh, they got a pep talk from the captains of the Philistines. They say, hey, look, don't pay that no mind. We gonna still whoop. We been whooping, we gonna keep whooping. Read on.
That ye be not servants unto the Hebrews.
Where we at?
Verse 9.
Of 1 Samuel 4?
Yeah.
Go ahead, read.
As they have been to you. Quit yourselves like men and fight. And the Philistines fought, and Israel was smitten, and they fled every man into his tent.
Wait, what happened to Israel?
And Israel was smitten.
But they had the Ark of the Covenant with them.
And Israel was smitten.
But they had this majestic, glorious, powerful artifact with them.
And Israel was smitten.
It didn't matter. The Most High wasn't with them. Read on.
And you know why? Because when you read about Hophni and Phinehas, they were wicked as hell.
God.
They were wicked priests. So the Most High wasn't going to be with that, man. And then, you know, when you read the story, Eli died when he heard about his sons dying because Eli was off. He didn't check his sons. So the Most High was punishing Israel. This was Israel's punishment for Eli, Phinehas, and Hophni. Go ahead.
And they fled every man into his tent. And there was a very great slaughter. For there fell of Israel 30,000 men.
Man, that's a... Read on. Wow.
And the ark of the Most High was taken.
And they did what?
The ark of the Most High was taken.
So, the ark of the Most High was taken. Now, the ark, the nations, they knew how powerful this ark was, but why would they steal it? Well, because they wanted some of that power. And the Most High let them take it as punishment. And to show Israel that the ark, you had to have faith in me. You couldn't have faith in the ark. You had to have faith in my power and what I do through the ark, through these things. It's like worshiping Aaron's rod.
Yeah.
That budded. You got to say that because they're like Aaron's rod.
Right.
You got to say Aaron's rod that budded. You can't stop there, right?
God.
Not say it wrong.
Not in 2019.
Right. But it's like worshiping Aaron's rod that budded. First of all, the Most High put the glory through the rod. He put the majesty through the rod that budded. So imagine worshiping that. You'd be wrong. But that's what we did. I'm sure some of them worship Moses' staff that he held over the Red Sea. They worshiped that because they were worshiping Moses, weren't they, as a god? Where is this Moses? Aaron, make us gods. We always needed a sign. We always need a carnal sign or something tangible to grab onto for us to believe that the Most High is real. Where he always was doing things in front of us to show the realness. Read on.
The two sons of Eli.
Right, so it said that they took the ark, right? Go to chapter 5. 1 Samuel 5:1.
And the Philistines took the ark of the Most High and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. And the Philistines took the ark of the Most High. They brought it into the house of Dagon.
Right, and this is going to show that how the ark was a curse to these other nations. It was a power to us when we were faithful in the Most High, but it was also a curse. It was a curse to the nations for them to even possess it. So when these Ethiopians are talking about, oh yeah, we got the real Ark of the Covenant, no, you don't. And if you do, you cursed. Now you see why your whole land is just in famine. So if they do have it, you better give it back. That's why there's famines in Ethiopia. That's why they famished out there. They got civil wars, Eritrea and Ethiopia. They're the same damn people fighting. That's like Mexico and Mexicans fighting. Chihuahua and Guadalajara. We don't fight and then call ourselves something different. Nah, man, it's the same thing. So if they do have the ark over in Ethiopia, which I highly doubt they do, then, and we know they don't because of scripture, then they need to get that back and stop claiming you have it. Watch, read on.
Into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon.
Because Dagon was their Philistine god, right? Their little deity that they worship. Go ahead.
And when they of Ashdod arose early the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon
their idol. This idol, it was magically falling down before the ark. Okay, read on.
And they took Dagon and set him in his place again.
We're like, dang, let's put him back up. Somebody must have knocked it over. Somebody must have knocked our idol down. Let's put him back where it was. Everything's all good. It's cool. Read on.
And when they arose early of the morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord.
Right, you gonna worship the Most High. Dagon. Go ahead.
And the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off upon the threshold. Only the stump of Dagon was left to him.
Read on.
Therefore, neither the priest of Dagon nor any that come into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon and Ashdod unto this day. But the hand of the Lord was heavy upon them of Ashdod.
His hand was what?
Heavy upon them of Ashdod.
Yeah, you thieves. Read on.
And he destroyed them.
He did what?
He destroyed them.
Go ahead.
And smote them with emeralds, even Ashdod and the coast thereof.
You hit him with them hemorrhoids, man. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And when the men of Ashdod saw that it was so, they said, the ark of the Most High of Israel shall not abide with us, for his hand is sore upon us.
Yeah, we got to get this thing out of here because it's a curse. Go ahead.
And upon Dagon, our God, they sent therefore and gathered all the lords of the Philistines unto them, and said, what shall we do with the ark of the Most High of Israel?
So now they're trying to figure out, like, okay, where do we take it? Well, the best thing would be to do is just take it back to Israel. Take it back to the people, right? Go ahead.
And they answered, let the ark of the power of Israel be carried about unto God. And they carried the ark of the power of Israel about thither. And it was so that after they had carried it about, the hand of the Lord was against the city with a very great destruction. And he smote the men of the city, both small and great. And they had emeralds in their secret parts.
You got to see how the Most High is hitting them. He's hitting them like it's comical. It's comical the way he's hitting them. He gonna hit them in the secret parts. No, like what Zav just said. It's them hemorrhoids. He hitting them between the butt cheeks. They can't sit.
Where we at again?
We're in
Between the cheeks.
we're in Samuel chapter 5. We're in Samuel chapter 5.
First Samuel?
First Samuel.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's hitting them with these emerods. He's heavy on them, but that's still a light touch because he could have just wiped them out. He wanted to have something that they can remember. So every time they tried to sit, they remember that. Every time they got to go to the restroom, they remember that. Dang, I took the ark. We should have never did this.
Yeah.
We should have never did this.
Strong's definition of an emerald, a tumor in the anus. Oh yeah.
You got to think about
From
that.
an unused root meaning to burn, a boil or ulcer from the inflammation. This guy, the Most High, inflamed. He gave them hemorrhoids, man. Just like he do it to the Egyptians. He gave them hemorrhoids also. He was hitting them in the bowels, man. What's up, Jermaine?
Man, it's interesting because I just met this Ethiopian lady at the cart. Man,
Gosh.
she's probably up there like could have been close to 70.
Oh, nice.
She was telling me she was a survivor of colon cancer.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So it just made me think,
Get Ark back.
I was trying to tell her about the frankincense and myrrh and everything. Like,
Yeah.
this is good for you.
Yeah.
And,
Damn.
yeah, it's just
Got hit with the cold. Yeah, and them emerods, bro. It's real. Said in their secret parts. Read on.
Therefore they sent the ark of the power to Ekron.
So these niggas are so dumb. It's like, yeah, let's send it to the next city so they can be plagued. We ain't gonna give it back so the plagues will stop. We just gonna get all our cities to just be destroyed roundabout.
They were prideful. They were like, man, we ain't giving this back.
Nope.
We won it. We took it for them fair and square. We ain't giving it back. Read on.
And it came to pass as the ark of the Most High came to Ekron, that the Ekronites cried out, saying, they have brought about the ark of the power of Israel to us, to slay us and our people.
Why y'all bring it to us? Why y'all bring it here? Oh, they're like, they falling out. Oh no, we about to get it next. We about to get it now. The last city got it. The city before that got it. Now we about to get it. Read on.
So they sent and gathered together all the lords of the Philistines, and said, send away the ark of the power of Israel, and let it go again to his own place.
They had a council about this. They got together and said, let's talk about this. When we send it here, we get played. When we send it there, we get played. It's not supposed to be here with us. Let's send it right back to who it's supposed to be with. Read on.
They all walking around just with, it's like they all need preparation H.
God.
What do you put on hemorrhoids back then? I don't know. How do you get rid of that? I mean, I never had one now, but how do you even? Read on.
That it slay us not and our people, for there was a deadly destruction throughout all the cities, and the hand of the Most High was very heavy there. And the men that died not were smitten with the emeroids, and the cry of the city went up to heaven.
I'm sorry, that's hilarious. That is a hilarious, but it just shows, man, the ark was it was a power for us when we had faith, but it was a snare to the nations that took it because it didn't belong to them. So, you know, I said it earlier, the Ethiopians, they claim that they have the ark, and if you research the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, right, they have the ones that have the Rastafarians that believe in that, they claim that they got the actual original Ark of the Covenant in one of their churches. They'll never say where it is, but then they have replicas in every church in Ethiopia of the Ark of the Covenant. But they claim that they have the actual Ark. But thus saith the Most High. And what does the Most High saith? Go there. Where are we going next? Maccabees?
Yeah. From there, we're going to 2 Maccabees, chapter 2, and verse 4. 2 Maccabees, chapter 2, and verse 4. Because, just like what I was saying, the Ethiopians say they got it. They say they got the Ark of the Covenant with them. Let's find out where it really is at. The scriptures say where it's at. Let's see what the scriptures say about where the Ark of the Covenant is right now. 2 dates. Read.
2 Maccabees chapter 2 verse 4. It was also contained in the same writing that the prophet,
that prophet was Jeremiah. Read on.
being warned of the Most High, commanded the tabernacle and the ark to go with him as he went forth into the mountain, where Moses climbed up and saw the heritage of Yahweh.
What mountain was that? That was Mount Sinai. That's the only mountain that even talk about Moses climbing.
Yes, sir.
That was Mount Sinai. Go ahead.
And when Jeremiah came thither,
So it says Jeremy, but that's Jeremiah. Read
came
on.
thither, he found it in hollow cave, wherein he laid the tabernacle, and the ark, and the altar of incense, and so stopped the door.
So he hid it. He put it in the cave, put all these artifacts in it, stopped the door. But read on.
And some of those that followed him came to mark the way.
They were following. They're trying to, let's make a treasure map of how to get to the Ark of the Covenant. They're trying to mark the way, find out what road he was taking, what path he took up the mountain, so they can go back and get it. So they know exactly where it's at. But it wasn't for them to know. It wasn't for everybody to know, because that information would have went out through the world. Somebody else would have got a hold of it.
But it tells you that it went to the same place that Moses climbed up.
That's all they,
Somewhere in Sinai.
somewhere in Sinai, yep.
So how could it be with the Ethiopians? Go ahead, read.
But they could not find it. Which when Jeremiah perceived, he blamed them, saying, As for that place, it shall be unknown until the time that Yahweh.
Wait, what?
Ooh.
As for that place, it shall be unknown until the time that Yahweh
Come on.
gather his people.
Wait, he does what?
Gather his people.
Right, so that place, even if we have an idea, oh, Mount Sinai, bruh, you probably have to lift Mount Sinai off the ground completely to get to it. It ain't gonna be disclosed, man. That place was shut up. So the Ethiopians ain't got no Ark of the Covenant.
That's right.
It said until the Most High gather his people. I mean, we're still in the process of gathering. We ain't completely gathered. We ain't completely unified. Christ ain't here yet. Go ahead.
And receive them unto mercy.
Right, go ahead.
Then shall the Most High show them these things, and the glory of the Most High shall appear, and the cloud also, as it was showed under Moses.
Right. Ooh, that's nasty. Go ahead.
And as when Solomon desired that the place might be honorably sanctified, it was also declared that he, being wise, offered the sacrifice of dedication.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
That's it on that.
That's it on that. From there, someone give me Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 5.
Comment.
Yes, sir.
It's interesting. At the mall this morning, Makarab was just, he was telling Lamont and I that these Ethiopians, they go to this certain church
Yeah.
that they actually have to climb this certain mountain.
To get up there?
To get up there.
But you'll die climbing?
He said it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
That you're going to watch it, but he said, this lady, she just had her baby. You're risking your life every day to climb this mountain. I'm not saying that it's up there, but it's interesting that they...
Yeah. Because that's how they show dedication. Like, I gotta risk my life. It said lay down your life as a living sacrifice, not as some dumb nigga climbing a mountain to die so that you can't worship me. You see how these that's why it says the gods of these nations are idols, man. And they're nothing. You read that book of Baruch, and he goes into them gods. He busted them all down. They're trash. They got them doing come on, you climbing a mountain so steep. He told me about it. You climbing a mountain so steep that you can't even make it to the church. Like, come on, how does that even make sense?
What's the purpose of the church?
What's the purpose? Only the strong will survive. Go ahead, man.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 5.
So, now we got all this information of the ark. We know what it was used for, how it was constructed, what was in it, what happened when we had it, what happened when we didn't have it. We know where it's at. Now we're gonna top it off. We're gonna complete this by showing that Moses didn't just he wasn't audibly talked to about this. He was shown this. He was shown what the ark, the images on the ark. He was shown that somewhere else. Read on.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 8 and verse 5. Who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things.
It was a shadow of heavenly things. This was like a glimpse of what's in heaven. Not a full glimpse, it was just a shadow, just a piece of what heaven is like, or what Moses seen in heaven.
Just like the law, just like the baptism, just like purging things with blood, they were all a shadow of things to come. They were all a representation of the heavenly things, the heavenly order. Thou will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So these things were just a representation of the heavenly things, man. Go ahead.
As Moses was admonished of Yahweh when he was about to make the tabernacle. For, see, said he, that thou make all things according to the pattern shown to thee in the mount.
According to the pattern, what?
Shown to thee in the mount.
It was shown unto him in the mountain. From there, give me Revelations chapter 11 and verse 19. These were the things that the Most High was communing with Moses about when he was in the mountain. But here in Revelations wraps it up. Revelation is the end. You know, these things that we do here on earth, the law, statutes, the commandments, the figures, the artifacts, the Ark of the Covenant, which is what this class is about. It was just a shadow of things that's in the angelic realm, in the fourth dimension. Read where you at, brother.
The book of Revelations, chapter 11 and verse 19. And the temple of Yahweh was opened in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament.
What was in the temple?
The ark of his testament.
So that ark that we had here, that we were walking around with on the stage, this is what Moses seen.
It was patterned after what was in heaven.
It was patterned after what was in heaven. Exactly. Read on.
And there were lightnings, and voices, and thunderings, and an earthquake, and great hail.
It was a powerful scene. You gotta imagine that. Thinking like that figure of the ark that you've seen, you may have looked up on your phone. If you're all watching online, they put up an image of it. Think about a figure like that. These huge angels over this mercy seat. And you hear these thunderings, the lightnings, this power is just like, it's something more than out of a movie. You can't even imagine what it really looked like. But Moses seen it. It was powerful. And that's what's in heaven. That's just a little glimpse, a little shadow of things to come. But that's it on it. Did anyone have any questions? Questions online?
Yeah, I had one question.
Yes, sir.
When we talking about Shiloh, I forgot what scripture that was in. I forgot to put it down. When we talking about us going to Shiloh, but you know it also talking about when Shiloh comes. I was trying to see if they were talking about the same.
Wait, was this in the class or was this a different question?
No, it's just class. Shiloh was a city, or was a town.
Right.
Watch, I'll get it for you.
But you know what I'm talking about, that verse when he say until Shiloh come? So is he saying like when we get our land back, or when your house shall come back? You get what I'm saying?
Right, I know what you're saying. Let's go there.
Because until now, like when I read it before, I didn't know that was actually talking about like land. I thought that was talking about your house shall.
Scepter shall not depart from Judah, no more be lawgiver between his feet until Shiloh come. And until any tribe of God will be Judah. Wow. Oh, so you're talking about Genesis 49 verse 10?
Come. Yeah. That's what we were talking about, till Shiloh.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we read today, we said Shiloh, but then we talk about land, so I didn't even know whether he said when he bring us back to the land, or if
Yeah, it's like, it's, you know, it's like, man, how do I explain it and make it sound clear? It's like, I want to make it clear to you. It's like, okay, it's like, we're going to come to peace, right? Or peace is going to come to us. Now we can say like Yahweh Shai is peace, right? Or the land of peace, right? Which is our own land. So it's, don't get twisted up with going and coming. Understand what it is. Like when it's talking about it in 49, it's talking about Yahweh Shai. It just means tranquility and peace. And then being brought into peace is another, you know, the other scripture you're talking about. So don't get caught up in the when it comes and we go to it, because it's kind of the same thing. It coming and we getting to it is the same. It's just that peace, that tranquility, that state of mind, and then that's what Yahweh Shai represents.
It makes sense because they say when we be back in our land, that the whole earth be at peace.
Right. So Shiloh was a place, yeah, but then like Yahweh Shai, he represents that tranquility, that peace, that just calm. You see that? So there's a word for it, like epithet or something like that. Yeah. All right, well, I mean, hey, that was a good class. That was a good class. You know, we'll be back tomorrow. It is the Shabbat morning prayers ceremony. You know, we're gonna get it in. So, if you got any questions, you don't have them for tonight. You know how we do it. We do the reading, and then we do questions on the topic, off the topic. We street speaking tomorrow, so get ready for that. Blaze these streets before these streets blaze us. It's mad hot, but it hasn't rained. It's not gonna rain tomorrow, so it's been raining us out the last 3-4 weekends. So we'll be out after class. All right. So if that's it, let's go ahead. Let's salute them online. Let's say shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. We'll see y'all back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Houston local time.
Devils taught lies on Christ. So many lies that when we come with the truth, people think that the lies is the truth and that the truth is the lie.
Who changed the truth for God into a lie? In English, Jesus Christ, in Hebrew, it's Yahweh Shai.